Okay, pause that, there we go. So I'm trying something new with my audio. Hopefully it works a little bit better. I know you guys keep complaining that I'm low. Yeah, I would have started close to an hour ago, but unfortunately my puppy decided to find herself a fox den this morning, and needless to say, the mama wasn't very happy, so I had to break that fight up and then turn around and play vet. Luckily, none of her scratches are that deep, so we'll keep an eye on her for the rest of the day. But yeah, got four little fox pups running around the yard, and my puppy is a very friendly dog, so she tried to run out and play with them, and apparently Mama wasn't having that. So, always a fun start to a day. There we go. Hey. Okay, so anyways, I have been gone for a little over a month. Yeah, there's a major reason for that. I was doing a deep dive into Mgtow, and basically the subject of today's little stream here. But I was doing a deep dive into it, and I found out that apparently Mgtow is like psychologically designed to target men that are depressed and that have anxiety and that have feelings of being scorned by women, and it's designed to trap you because of that. And while I was researching, I didn't realize that my depression was starting to creep up on me, and needless to say, I had to basically back off for my own mental health until I was able to logic trap my way out of it. It's not really a huge thing, but that's the reason why I've been gone for so long. You guys probably saw me on Drag's stream last week. That was the end of my vacation because my kids were at their mom's for spring break, and needless to say, I decided to go out for a drive. Visited Kamal down in Alabama. He is a wonderful guy. I had a blast. Did not get to visit Monty for as long as I would have liked, but we did sit down, have a chat. Finally got a picture of of both of us in our jackets. That was kind of funny. And then because he had to let me go early, I turned around and just went on into Houston, and that was when the whole thing with Drag came around. It's also come to my attention that apparently our resident Heffalump has again decided to call me a map. So that this little portion right here, if anybody wants to clip it and send it to her, Shani, I understand math is hard, but half your age plus 9, even at 18, is 18. So I understand, word problems hard, especially for people that are as dumb as you are. But that entire formula completely prevents me from getting into trouble with any type of shit like that. Okay? I recently had an attraction to somebody in the community. I did not say a damn thing until I found out she was almost 30 because she looked a lot younger. Okay? Because at the age of 35, my current number is 26. So, y'all can just fuck right the hell off. Like, I'm talking all the way off. But I will tell you guys right now, if I hear that bullshit come out of her mouth one more time, I will be doing a deep dive in them, and I will be doing that video with more than a little bit of sadistic pleasure. Anyways, so today we are going to be talking about Mgtow and Radical Feminism. Unfortunately, they are like the literal opposite ends of the extreme when it comes to essentially dating. I'm really just getting into the social aspects. There's a lot along the lines of policy that are, yeah, kind of. But no, Lubis, it wasn't Jules. Jules is in fact way too young for me. So there's yeah. I've never actually thought about her even in that way, just because I think one of the first times I had even heard about her, she had admitted that she was 24, and that was the one on G-Man's channel. So no, but yeah, there's a major issue there between Mgtow and Radical Feminism. I did find the way to differentiate Mgtow and men's rights activists. If you are talking to somebody who is constantly talking about men's rights, generally you're either talking to one of the two. The problem is a men's rights activist is a little bit more liberal in the fact that they're not stupid enough to, like the Mgtow, to think that child support is theft. Okay? Any responsible adult would understand that child support is meant to provide for your child. Okay? Men's rights activists, they might complain about how much they're paying, or where, because they don't know where it's going, or the fact that their ex is spending it every time it comes in on getting her hair and nails done. That's a completely different issue. Okay, I've never once heard a men's rights activist actually say that child support is theft. And they are mostly, as far as that I've seen so far, completely willing to pay their child support, provide for their children. Okay, I have the joy of having primary custody of my kids, so it's not really a big deal for me when it comes to child support. But when me and my ex-wife first separated, I was paying child support. I had no issues with it. I was a little irritated because I didn't know where it was going, and the fact that I was paying $600 out of every paycheck, with my child support, and my ex-wife happens to be paying $51 a month for both kids. So yeah, slight irritation there, but at the same time, that's more of an inequality thing as opposed to my children being provided for. I literally use my child support card twice a year, and that's around birthday time. I don't need it to provide for my kids. So, anyways, let's see here. Mgtows to me are like communists. I understand, and in other cases agree with their criticisms, but their solutions turn me off. I agree. That's one of the things that I was wanting to discuss here. It was okay. So, like I said, Mgtow, they tend to target you when you are depressed, feeling neglected, stuff like that. The problem is some of the stuff that they say is valid. I mean, they actually do use some factual knowledge. The problem is they stretch it and kind of like pervert it to a point where you get turned into one of the little rascals in the He-Man Woman Haters Club, as opposed to trying to figure out how to make things more equal. And that's what I was wanting to discuss today. I am going to pop out the. So I'm going to go ahead and pin the invite in the chat here. If anybody wants to come in and add something to it, I would definitely appreciate it. This is just, like I said, I would much rather this be a discussion and not just me monologuing. Let's see here. I know I just put that in there. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Sorry. Pin message. But yeah, anyways, now I tried for weeks to try to find a radical feminist that wasn't just outright fucking nuts. And do you realize how hard that is? I mean, like, it seemed like anytime I would type in radical feminism, I would end up with, man haters and women that, TikTok is definitely not the place for fucking feminism, because that is, oh my God, that is some horrible shit right there. But I saw this one that literally encouraged her, I would assume her boyfriend, something like that, that he bought her a brand new dress, bought her a corsage, took her to a party, and she proceeded to turn around and say, tell him, it's just me and you in this hallway. If you touch my shoes one more time, I have no problems at no cost to me fucking up the rest of your life by pissing on the floor right here. Your friends aren't going to know who the hell I am, and they're not going to remember me, and all this other stuff. And I was like, what the fuck is this bitch on? Okay, and unfortunately, I didn't want that to come out of my mouth, but at the same time, there are some crazy ass women out here. And unfortunately, that actually ties into one of the Mgtow points, where the common thing is not all men. And I do have to agree with them on the fact that, I'm sorry, but women, you cannot judge all men by the worst of us and then expect men to judge you by the best of you. It doesn't work that way. So it's a two-way street here. There's give and take on both sides. Okay. And I did actually look up the statistics on a lot of the shit that these Mgtow guys were using. It is actually true that apparently on any type of dating app, the top 80% of women will only match with the top 5% of men. I'm glad I don't use dating apps, because that's fucked up in an entirely different way. But it does go back into evolution. Unfortunately, women have sex with whoever they want, whereas men have sex with whoever they can. And that's one of the reasons why men seem to have lower standards. And see, if you take any of these clips out of context, it's going to look like I'm a fucking Mgtow. The problem is I support equal rights. I support first and second wave feminism without batting an eye. I believe that women should have the same rights as men. I believe, all the other things like that regarding, I guess, contemporary feminism. But it's this whole the newer stuff. This is what's getting me, because, like I said, it seems like any of the newest stuff that's been coming out it's misandry. It's all it is. It's literally just man hating or women proclaiming that feminism is about female superiority. And I mean, if anybody's got something that they want to discuss, you can come on in. Um, I would like to have my viewpoint changed on this. I really would, but at this point in time, I'm still kind of like back and forth, center of the road type deal. Now, when it comes to men's rights activists and contemporary feminists, I have no problems with most of what any of them say. As a matter of fact, there was apparently a movie that came out not too long ago called The Red Pill. I did not know that that was actually a documentary made by a feminist. Um, it was interesting. I saw her interview. Uh, Hang on a second here. Let's see here. It's a mixture of factors. There are unfair laws against men, unfair shit like the dating app, and there's cultural stigma against women, cops who ignore women being yeah okay. It is, and it's unfortunately until we can get together and agree on certain things, then it's going to be a mixed issue. Men are going to be unfairly treated in certain situations. Women are treated unfairly in others. And I mean, on top of that, this isn't just a binary thing. It's not just men and women. This does affect even non-binary and the trans community, and that's something that I have issues with. But it's one of those things. Uh, let's see here. I was expecting at least a few more viewers than that. Unfortunately, when I timed this morning, I did not expect Black Guy TV to be going live at the same time. So, no, hey Ronan, how you doing? Yeah, it's like I said, it's one of those things where the if you catch it in the wrong frame of mind, then it's going to bite you. And I'm because of how Mgtow affected me when my depression started kicking up. I'm assuming that radical feminism is of the same wheel and will catch women that are feeling neglected, feeling depressed in the same way. And that's something that is bad for everybody. It's not something that needs to be done, but at the same time, it is something that does need to be talked about. Because when you can have that discussion, oh hey, there we go. How we doing, Ronan?
Hello, how you doing?
It's been a while since I talked to you.
Well, you've been busy and you're back now.
Yep. Oh, good grief! I actually just checked in on Jungle Jargon last night. He's still spouting his stupid stuff.
Well, yeah, I like the guy, but obviously we differ. Well, let's get back to the topic.
Yes.
All of this, Mgtow and radical feminism. I
Mm-hmm.
just, I just think it's to that degree of awareness now where people on both sides. This is
Yeah.
applicable. I see it as applicable to both sides because
Mm-hmm.
both sides are more aware now, right? Social media, for example, right?
Yep.
And they hear people who are, very, very overt about their feelings. And then other people catch on to that and say, yeah, that's right. I should, be more honest with myself, whether it's feminism or Mgtow. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
so
agree with
they
you.
yeah, they amplify those things, like joining the support. of a certain team, the hometown team, right? You get very so-called radicalized, right? And people get out there and they start arguing the point, and obviously there's friction involved.
Yeah. It's kind of a whole thing about tribalism. When we basically, when you find a group that supports what you're thinking, then you're going to feel more comfortable thinking weirder stuff.
Yeah, it seems for as aware that we are, right? We're not uh, woke, I guess is the common term nowadays. Woke to the point where we realize, for example, I met someone recently, right? And he had just come out of the closet, right?
Yeah.
A neophyte, right? A neophyte to the idea of being open with himself, and we could replace the label with Christian, right? So he first came out of the closet, and he was very, very much a zealot. No, we don't want pronouns. We want proper names. I am, categorizing myself as such and such, and I expect to be respected as such. And I realized right from experience, obviously, that okay, this guy, this person, my apologies, is new to the concept, whether it's Christianity or being
Yeah.
open, proud, and they're new, right? So they're very excited about it. But the problem is, right, where the other listeners, and I knew some of the other people on the panel, yeah, they are experienced, right? They understand it from the perspective of having had experience. Yet, yet they'll go to that survival mode and start questioning everything. What do you mean? Why can't you use? Why can't we use the pronouns versus proper nouns? Right? And I said, well, why are we being the childish when we know better?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like one of those things. Maybe, well, I know part of it is that constant awareness as animals that we are, that reality is a challenge,
Yeah.
right? And we face it with skepticism, and we face it with questions, and obviously it's all based in fear, right? Survival mode. But the people, even though I hear them and when we converse, they are on the same level, you know. But when they meet this other person, a neophyte, if you will, or convert, whatever, right, they'll revert to that so-called childish behavior, and that's a
Yeah, I can see that.
but again, I do realize, yeah, that's part of the whole thing. But this person, where they patient and realize, hey, this guy's a new convert, it'll pass, it'll pass. But there's that patience is not to be found most of the time.
Okay, so that is analogous to the rest of us basically finding that new angry atheist.
Right,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
It's just another label for a degree of
Yeah.
emotion. That's all that is. But they don't. I'm not. I'm saying they don't want to, because it's like a gray area, right? On the one hand,
Hmm.
yes, you have to be aware. You have to survive, if you will. On
Yeah.
the other hand, you want to engage and understand what that person is saying, but it's hard to so-called juggle, right? The benefit of experience, right? It's hard to juggle those two things based on the way the person is coming across.
Real quick, phony. You need to clarify real quick. Do you mean what type of Mgtow or what is Mgtow? Because that's that's kind of an unclear sentence right there.
Oh, that's another thing. That's another thing. I met this one guy who claimed he was a Mgtow, right? And
Hmm.
well, I don't know what it means. I don't know what the acronym means or meant.
Oh, it stands for Men Go Their Own Way.
Yes, I looked it up. And
Hmm.
it was originated by someone labeled an online group of men who were part of the definition was misogynist.
Yeah.
Right? And I met this one guy who says, I'm a mid guy. And I said, well, this is the definition. I posted it in the live chat.
Uh
And
huh.
it says, so you're acknowledging that you're a misogynist? No, no, that's not it. Well,
Yeah.
why don't you just say you're a happy bachelor? You know what I mean? They wanted to use a colloquial term that they did not fully appreciate in terms of definition.
Yep.
And myself being ignorant of the term, looked it up, and I said, "Oh, so you're acknowledging that you're a misogynist?" He said, "No, no, no, no." And then I realized later, obviously after the fact, that that's his interpretation, much like a Christian interprets what a Christian believes. It's a
Yep.
misinterpretation of the term, but they use it because it's a common everyday term nowadays.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
and that's to me is confusing because it's like I'm ignorant. I don't know. You claim to be Mgtow, and I look up the definition, and then I'm of the mindset. Oh, you already hate women. And I obviously I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong based on the definition. But
Hmm.
the fact that that person, the man, interpreted the term his own way.
Yep. Actually, when I first encountered the term MGTOW, I actually thought it stood for, or I thought it was just a different word for incel. It was
Right,
basically these
right.
guys can't get laid and they're butthurt about it.
No, no. I also looked up incel when it first came out, and I
Hmm.
oh, okay, that's the difference. I got it. I got it. Yeah.
But
But
no, that's
these are online terms.
yeah.
It's subjective. It's subjective. Much like a person believing in God, it's subjective.
Hmm. But no, basically, as a matter of fact, the only reason why I watched that documentary is because it was called the Red Pill movie, and I found that red pill generally was synonymous with MGTOW, and come to find out it was actually shot by a feminist. So I'm sitting there watching it, and it's like this is interesting, and at the same time, apparently this woman went from being a feminist to doing this documentary and then getting kicked out of the feminist community and becoming a men's rights activist.
Huh.
And it was interesting. I'm sitting there watching this, and she's like, okay, as I'm sitting here listening to this, I'm like imagining them saying shit that they're not actually saying. And it wasn't until she had to actually transcribe everything, because unfortunately, nobody listens to you better than somebody who's typing out all your words.
True.
But it wasn't until she actually had to transcribe everything when she found herself sitting there like, oh, he didn't say that. Shit, he actually has a point here.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because the way she was explaining it herself as she was going through this. Apparently, she started agreeing with him, and then when she turned the movie into the producers, who I assume were feminist, they originally didn't want to actually air the movie. They because they were looking for, I guess, the worst examples, and she literally just went completely around the country and just found 88 people that were men's rights activists.
Oh. Huh.
And like I said earlier, like I said, the easiest way to tell the difference between a men's rights activist and somebody who's MGTOW is ask them what their stance is on child support. Because most MGTOW people that I've encountered will flat out tell you that child support is theft of the man, and most men's rights activists will turn around. They usually in support of child support, just for the simple fact that it's like, wait a minute, no, because if I have custody of my kids, I would want child support as well.
True.
And they don't complain too much about child support. It's normally just how much they're paying or where that money's going, as opposed to the MGTOW side of it, where it's like, no, 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 that's just theft, period. And it's like, no, it's not. You're helping raise your fucking kids.
Right. Right. I can understand both sides of it. In modern terms, well, yeah, we should invest in our youth. I mean, that's the point of it all, right? We raise healthy youth; they become
Hmm.
productive citizens, right? But the abandonment thing, right? Well, obviously, there's no male role model, and if there's no support there, obviously, the child gets shortchanged because if they're hungry, they're not going to study very well. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But then this, in the traditional sense, survival, if you will, well, no, I'm just another animal, and I'm getting out here, having sex, and she can take care of the children herself. That's very selfish. Well, it's a good thing if we're talking animal behavior, but
Yeah.
because we're trying to become a so-called civilized society, right? I mean, we'd be remiss if we did not focus on raising our children and having, good habits, practiced around them so they can be good role models later.
Yes. Alan, yes, I do agree. MRAs, they're not misogynistic on paper. Like I said, the arguments that I have that I've seen do make a lot of sense. But the movement does attract misogynists into their fray. That's kind of like saying that feminism attracts man haters. I mean, it's you're gonna get the outliers that come in and try to repurpose the entire thing to suit their needs. So, I mean, I agree with you, but at the same time, from what I've looked at, a lot of MRAs would also qualify to be classified as a feminist as well, because men's rights activism, it's not about reestablishing male superiority. It's just basically saying, look, while we're struggling for equality, let's not leave out the fact that there's a lot of unfairness on this side as well.
It's a matter of negotiation,
It
right?
is.
If a man, goes up to a woman, obviously with natural intentions, the problem comes in where the classic statement comes to mind:
Hmm.
"Only fools rush in." They're over. Well, we men are. I can't speak for women. We men are
No, I'd love to get a
overcorrect.
woman in here.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, I want to parse this out so we
Yeah.
understand both sides. Men, right? But we're basically logical things, creatures. However, when we see that woman, that face, to me, it's the face. Okay, what turns me
Hmm.
on most about women is gets my attention is the face. Breasts are nice, legs are nice. My partialism is based on the face, right? So I see the face, and all of a sudden, I'm overwhelmed. Logic goes right out the window. I go, topsy turvy, and
Oh
I
yeah.
have to talk to this woman. That's the problem, right?
And
Fools rush in, right?
I will agree with you completely.
Yeah, yeah.
For me it's voice and hair. So
Right, whereby there's these other men. Let's just say the man is relatively affluent, good looking, smart,
mhm.
educated, all those things, and then he decides, I'm in a good position. I'm going to go find a woman versus being overwhelmed at first sight, right? That man who's out there looking for a woman negotiates, right? He wants to find out about her. He wants to see what she thinks, how she acts, he wants to invest in a relationship, right? Not just pay for a connection,
Yeah.
right? And that's the difference because the majority of the time, the fool rushes in. And that's the problem because you rush in, you don't know the person's nature, character, and later on, I want a divorce because she's not, that's part of
Yeah.
it. And communication during the relationship is quite important, much like understanding, hey, where are we financially? What do you think of
Yep.
this? How would you like to do that? How do you see that? That communication is quite important because men socially are trained to be the strong silent type. You can talk, but never talk about your feelings. Classic, classic,
Yep.
classic
That's.
behavior. And that
Mm,
again, it's ignorant behavior. But again, when fools rush in, ignorance is not the point at all. We're just baffled to the point of confusion, right? And we cannot overcome that. That's the thing. That's the thing. But we can be notified thereof. We can obviously, like, we have stories, movies, personal anecdotes here and there. And if children hear that, right, they may be a little more aware, and they might not make as many mistakes. But that's all we can
hey
plan
Zen,
on.
how we doing?
Yeah, but that's all we can really plan on. You know what I mean? Because going in, we
Hmm.
don't know. Again, it's all based on our emotions as, when we see that person. So that we can't take that out of the equation in nature.
Yeah, I agree with you. Phony. Yeah. Incels are the ones that are generally butthurt about not getting sex. But yes, there's definitely crossover between MRAs, Mgtow, incel. It's basically just the guy side of the spectrum. I mean, there's obviously crossover with feminists, radical feminists, and then just outright man haters. You've got that would be the other side of the spectrum. Uh,
You know the squeaky wheel gets the attention. You've heard that one?
yes,
Or the squeaky
it's
wheel
the
gets
loud
the
minority.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed that a lot of these issues, right?
Hmm.
If you just go by actual numbers, right? It's a very small percentage of the general population that
Yep.
has these issues. Because I see, well, here around me in reality, or your reality, right? You see people around you. I mean, they have relationships, obviously, arguments, good and bad times, all of those things, right? But that's the norm, if you will. Then you have these radicals like incels, the hardcore feminists, right? And they're getting the attention because hey man, this is anachromatic. You're not acting like everybody else because you're making it
Hmm.
an issue, a major issue. Then we have to go, consider character like an incel, right?
Yeah.
To me, I imagine an incel outright. This guy just got a poor attitude, man. He's assumptive. He thinks that they should go the way he thinks because he's making the money, right? That's his so-called tool, power, right, to control it. And women, basically, are saying that men are not very agreeable. It's like, oh, okay, so we got two ends of the spectrum, and it makes for a good, spark. Okay.
Yep. That's actually where you get into black pill on that one, where the guys are, complaining that that it's just solely based on their appearance that they can't get a partner.
Well, yeah, I had this war story time.
Okay.
I was the general manager of a corporation. Never mind details what we did, but we had this one young buck. I'm sorry, a politically young employee. Okay, they're not animals. Yes, we are animals, but we can't label them bucks. Fine. I'm in South Texas. I used to go hunting. Okay, but this
You're
one
good.
young guy, I think he's about 5'10", something like that. He's about my height. Well, I'm about just under 6 foot myself. But the point being, a young guy, relatively handsome, but he had issue with acne. Yeah, and he
Yeah.
was talking to me. He said, "Man, I don't think I'll be able to make it in this world and stuff." I said, "Why not?" And well, it led up to that point. And he says, "Well, and then he moves his hand over his face like, acne." And I said, "Look, man, you're a man. It doesn't matter what you look like. It matters what you do and what you got in your pocket. That's what women look for. Support, right? If you got the right attitude, you man, and you can support that woman, that's the basics of everything. Sure, some women want to go for the pretty boy, but they know the pretty boy isn't going to provide, but you will. That's the
Hmm.
difference, right? So, and then he mentioned he wanted to work for another company. Believe it was selling vacuum cleaner or something like that. Paid more.
Oh.
The point was it
Okay.
paid. Next thing you know, the guy left the job, and then he called me like 6 months later. Yeah, surprise out of the blue. You know those guys. Hey man, I'll come back and visit. No, you won't. No, you won't. No. You're going to
Yeah.
another state. You're going. You're getting married there and live there. For a lifetime job with the military or whatever. But no, you're not going to visit. I understand that. But this guy called me. He thanked me. He thanked me. He said, "Man, you made a difference in my life." I said, "Well, hey, well, you're welcome." He said, "Man, I really appreciate it. I was self-conscious, but then I realized what you told me works better than what I was thinking." And I'm saying, "Oh, it helped you out. Good, good." And well, that's the end of the war story. But the point being, right? If people get the good information, but at that point in their lives, it helps change the individual. Hey, those incels or Mgtows have
Hmm.
had, those role models when they were younger, right? I'm just putting natural character and attitudes aside for a moment. That's something else that could make an incel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
if the guy of the mindset, that it should be assumed that he is in power, and he gets told, "Look, man, you have to be able to negotiate things. It's a compromise, man." If someone had told that person that, and they had considered it to the degree that they employed the suggestion, right, they would be better off. But they probably made up their minds after it's probably a short time of suffering, so to speak, right? And then they just took on that mantle. No, women should know what we want automatically because we're bringing home the pay. Where's my sandwich?
Basically, yeah.
Basically,
They think they're entitled to it,
yeah, yeah.
and
No, you're
yeah,
far more sophisticated than I am, so I go with basics all the time. You know me. It's like, yeah, 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 nut and ranch. That's it.
yeah.
I can't go sophisticated.
No, okay. So let's see here. The thing is, sex is good, but unfortunately, guys, we have to be patient sometime. I can agree with that, Phony. I definitely enjoy sex, but there is there's that relationship dynamic. I mean, yes, I'm poly. I do have multiple girlfriends, and they are all aware of it. But at the same time, each different relationship that I have is special in its own right. I don't treat I don't treat the women in my life differently. I mean, aside from based on personal preferences type deal, but there's a connection there, and that is definitely one thing that I completely forgot about that. I do have to make an announcement real quick. Okay, so a few weeks ago, or like last week, I posted I posted an application in Black Guy TV's Discord, just joking around because I was bored that night. Basically, it was a harem application. I do need to make a statement real quick to the two people that responded to me. The pictures were absolutely lovely, but I'm gonna have to get back to you in DMs on that because that was actually a joke. But I will have a serious discussion with you if you want me to. So, sorry. Anyways, end of statement on that one. I found it hilarious because I was driving the other day and all of a sudden it was like, what the hell is this? And all of a sudden I get a little notification that says, JPEG, and I was like, huh? So I clicked on it, and it's like they had like printed out the application, filled it out, and then uploaded it back to me with pictures, and I was like, okay, well, those are amazing, but that wasn't the intent. But Phony, really, the only thing you need is confidence. Okay, like literally. Okay, there's a reason why I can't respond to these women. That I do need to. I do need to kind of keep a little bit on down low on that one because I'm actually waiting for a response. But there is a chance that I might be going radio silent for a few months towards the end of the year. It's an opportunity for me. Ronan, I think you, because I think that was one of the main reasons why me, you, and Jungle Jargon talked so much in the beginning. But I'm into survival shit.
Yeah.
Okay. It was an application that I filled out that has to do with that that may end up putting me basically in that situation for a matter of months.
All right.
So.
Are you gonna film? Are you gonna film?
I will be filming. Unfortunately, it will be broadcast on a cable channel that I can't say yet because they're currently researching my my social media. But
yeah, they have to. Yeah, sure. I understand the legal restrictions.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's something that I've wanted to do something like this since 1997, 98 when I saw the movie The Edge. So, I mean, held 25 years now that I've been wanting to do something like this.
Cool. What I would like to know, okay, because I don't watch. I've seen a few episodes of this reality TV stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right, whether it's Naked and Afraid or
something like that,
Housewives of whatever town,
mm-hmm.
right? I don't know, the Housewives of Hell, Michigan. There is a Hell, Michigan.
Yeah.
Right? The thing is, what I'd like to know after the fact, or maybe during, if you can do, sneak away and do some comment. I want to know what the producers tell you in terms of, the character. If they want you to amplify what you're doing, or tell you how to, moderate your behavior during, the filming or the process in order to have better impact with the audience. I'd
Oh
like
no,
to, yeah, I'd like to know that if they
it's
do, I guess, fluff up.
no, it's this one is actually slightly different. Like it's not Survivor where where if I was a pretty girl, I could get peanut butter for just by taking my top off during a competition. Because I know they had that particular little scandal. But this is literally I'd be getting trained on how to do the camera work myself for the first week or so, and then they literally just drop me off with the items that I have, and a second backpack full of battery packs and camera equipment, and I would be doing the all of the filming myself.
Oh, cool, 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 cool. Now that'll work for me. That'll
So
work for me.
it
That's the real
literally,
deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally, if you guys, if this does take off, then you guys are going to be seeing the real me by myself, no camera crew, and trying to survive.
There you go. There
So,
you go. That'll be fun. That'll
and
be fun. Yeah, I'm over to that one. I'm over to that one. Well, good luck.
yep,
Good luck. Yeah.
that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. I know my kids are a little upset because they're trying to figure out how the hell they're gonna go 4 months without dad, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, you know what? I've got a lot of family support. They know that I've been obsessed with this shit for decades now, and the opportunity came up, so it was like, yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can do it.
Yeah, yeah. No regrets there, man. You went through it,
Yep.
for whatever happens, it's like, yeah, I experienced, a dream I had. Yeah.
Yep. Uh, Basically, yeah. The only thing I'm not is the producer. Basically what they'll do is they'll end up taking all the footage that I have, and they'll be trying to condense it down into the snippets for each episode. But like I've done a lot of I live out here in the middle of nowhere on 3 acres, so I've done a lot of like bushcraft projects and stuff like that in the yard. I regularly sleep outside just because I can. So it's not a big deal for me. I love primitive hunting and fishing. So
So cool. So cool.
I'm not looking forward to quitting smoking, but at the same time, you know what? That'd be one hell of an easy way to do it.
Oh, that'll even be better. No, no, 3 months without it. Oh man, that'll be.
I get back and try a cigarette. It's like, oh, I'm done.
I'd like to know if the people, the producers there, will allow you to say, "Man, I really want a cigarette, and I've got to face 3 months of this." That's another hook, if you will. You know
Yep.
what I mean? You tell people, hey man, I usually smoke. I usually, I don't
Yep.
do this every day, but maybe every week I do it twice or something when I can. But
Hmm.
every day with no cigarettes, wow, I mean that'll really, pique interest, if you will.
Yeah.
Admit that it'll pique interest. I don't know what they'll tell you. I'm just guessing because,
Hmm.
to me, it's a phrase I made up to cast a net of hooks. Right, not just one thing, but a whole bunch of things, because not everybody's going to be interested in you out there. Just okay, fine. He's filleting out a fish. Okay, I've done it all the time, but all of a sudden, I wish I had a cigarette. It's
Oh
like,
yeah. No,
whoa,
but I'm
whoa,
pretty sure because I mean I've been a truck driver for 12 years, so being alone's not really a problem.
yeah,
But even then, that I'm pretty damn sure that camera is going to turn into my Wilson really quick.
yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
if you're literally out in the middle of nowhere with nothing but a camera to talk to.
yeah. I fell down. I twisted my ankle, and all the camera can do is look at me. What's the matter with you?
But no, it's fairly safe. Apparently, they do equip us with like bear spray, a flare, and a satellite phone.
Yeah, Yeah.
But other than that, it's just you on your own with nothing but a geotag
Yep.
to.
Yep. Yeah. 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 If you dial that phone, it's saying I give up.
Yeah, you dial that phone, it's saying I give up.
I
That's
give
exactly what
up.
it is.
I give up. No, I'm not gonna dial that phone. Man.
Hmm.
No. But see, there you go. The survival challenge. We all have to survive. You will love testing it.
Oh, I
You
do.
will love testing it. That's good. That's good.
And
We need that. We need that.
that's I think I'm actually going to be doing a lot more of that on my channel. Just like when I take the kids camping or anything like that, or when I go out in the yard and take on one of these projects with the kids. I probably will film some of it just to show off what I can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty sad because I watched the first season and one of the guys, he tapped out after like 3 days because he lost his ferro rod.
Aw.
And I was like, okay, first of all, how do you? I found myself doing the things that the guys were bitching about. It's like all these keyboard warriors telling me, well, this is what you should have done. And I was like, how do you do that? And all of a sudden I caught myself and I was like, no, I need to stop doing that because I don't know what I would do in that situation.
Right. That's good.
But I mean, I know how to start fires with with a ferro rod. I can do it with a bow drill. I can use my glasses. I've done that before, and it's I love doing that kind of stuff. I've got a fire pit out in the front yard, and anytime that I start one of our fires, usually I will try a different way each time just to see which techniques do work. And I know that's most people, they'll just take a lighter and some fat wood and stuff like that. But it's like, no, I want to be able to know I can do this stuff.
Right.
And
Right.
and this would be like the ultimate test for me. And I'm actually excited to see if I can get a response. I actually did get the first response already. That was fun because that definitely hit the mood shift button on that one. It was like, holy shit, they've already responded to me.
Yeah. It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. There's anticipation going on. That's great.
Hmm.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm not saying everyone, but myself. Right. I know I'm going into a certain situation, and I think plan ahead.
Hmm.
Okay, what might happen, what might not happen, what do I really need, what would I like. Even though I have everything ready and I'm so-called prepared, something always surprises me.
Yep.
That's the good part. That's the good part. Can I improvise? Impromptu. Can I improvise? And that'll make the difference. 3 days? He tapped out in 3 days?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa!
Even he
Oh,
was embarrassed, but
that
like I
is
said,
embarrassing.
that was
Oh,
season one, and none of these guys knew what to expect. I think the current record for that show is 100 days,
okay.
and the guy that lasted 100 days, he actually got, not only did he win the $500,000 prize, but he also got an extra $1 million.
Oh, there's money involved.
Yes,
Oh no, no,
but for me that's secondary because it's like no, the money would be awesome, but at the same time I want to do this because I want to do it.
you have a better chance of winning with that attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're not focused, on the prize. You're practicing. You're practicing the journey. That's the
Hmm.
good part, man. That's the good part. You're in the zone, if you will. You're zoning. Excellent, excellent.
Yep.
Yeah. Hmm.
But it's just something that I've always wanted to attempt, and uh, Mindy over here in the chat, she's the one that we were talking about it a few days ago, and then she found that one, and I was like, okay, oh holy shit, they're actually accepting applications. Let's go ahead and apply.
So, how many shows per season? In other words, how many other contestants within that time frame?
Oh, there's a total of 10 contestants, I
Oh,
think.
not bad, not bad. We'll see. Yeah.
Unless, well, okay, so I know one of the seasons they did pairs,
Okay. Okay.
where I think they had 14 contestants and it ended up as 7 groups. But I think that was the only season, because the rest of them, it's always been like 10 people, and they're all by themselves.
I'm presuming the majority. Well, I guess the question should be: were there any female contestants?
They're not in the first season that I saw, but I do believe like from season 2 or 3 up, there's always been at least 1 or 2 females in there.
Good, 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 good.
Now
Man, the females, like obviously the female probably lasted longer than the 3 day guy.
uh, actually, okay, so in one of the seasons, the guy lasted 87 days. And the one that came in second, she had to be medically evacuated, and she lasted 86 days.
That's going to
And
business there. That is
yeah,
going.
and in all but the one where the guy lasted 100 days, that literally would have put her as a winner in any other of the seasons. So, I mean, women can do this too. It's just that at this point in time, I'm looking for. I'm actually looking forward to basically living in a cabin in the woods that I built with my bare hands type deal.
That that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I used to motorcycle, and
Mm,
I have a few tools, basic tools with me, and I figure out a lean-to, man. Using branches and sticks. Hey, I got a lean-to, man. Let it rain. I
yep.
don't care. I don't care. Yeah,
Yeah, and those are those bushcraft projects that I used to do. The the one issue that I actually saw the list of stuff that we're allowed to take with us,
Okay.
and there's like a list of 50 things, and you've got to choose 10 of them.
Ah,
And I'm like, holy crap, this is going to be a pain in the ass, because it's like, I need this, I need this, I need this. But wait a minute, if I did this, I
yeah,
might be able to go without
yeah,
this. And
yeah.
I'm sitting there like trying to figure this out. And I mean, I would love to take my hammock with me, but from the looks of it, I don't think that's going to be possible, because just the way everything's setting up. I mean, yeah, I do cheat. I love my hammock, but at the same time, it's I have slept outside on the ground before. It doesn't bother me.
So I'm presuming that there's obviously water nearby, so you can go fishing. Obviously, game. The basic nature is provided. Yes. Unless
Yeah,
you're going
it's
to be in the desert. I mean, if it's going to be a desert condition, well, obviously you can't go fishing. I don't know. I don't know.
oh, okay. Let's see here. What would happen if some cameras got lost? Okay, so apparently we get a medical checkup like once a week or something like that, and they swap out dead batteries and stuff like that at that time. Um, Other than that, I believe that's how they get their episodes in, because I I'm fairly certain that this isn't like, oh, you film everything, and then if you lose your data, you're fucked. But from the looks of it, that might also be a possibility. So I'm not 100% sure on that. Uh, but yeah, it's uh, like the lean-tos. I've done lean-tos. I've done dugouts. I actually have built a branch hut, um, out in the back with my kids. So I know how to do that. It's just there's a few situations where my hands are a little bit bigger than my kids, so certain things are going to get a little bit more complicated. Um, but I mean, like I said, a lot of my knowledge is theoretical. Like I said, the movie The Edge, when he got dumped out after the plane crash. Most of the shit that he knew how to do, or knew how to do, um, was just crap that he had read, and unfortunately, that's where a lot of my knowledge comes from, because I retain a ton of information that is usually irrelevant to most people. Um, but yeah, I have put some of it into practice, that just to see if I could do it, and that's where a lot of my knowledge comes from. I mean, hell, I've got a creek right out here that that I've actually gone spearfishing in, just because I wanted to see if I could do it. And I can tell you right now, it's really challenging to hold a 4-foot gar on the end of a spear. But anyway, sorry, we ended up getting way sidetracked. Let's see here. So going back to the Mgtow versus feminism. Communication, yes. Communication is basically the major issue that that a lot of people have issues with. That's actually one of the reasons why I was hoping that a woman would come in here, just because I'd love to see if we could find a center of the road for this kind of shit, on something that we could actually agree on. I mean, Phony, the link is pinned to the top. If you want to hop in, we can have that discussion. I mean, once again, I'd much rather be I'd much rather be a woman, but at the same time, misogyny and feminism really doesn't know a gender, so at least not for the people that support it. There is a oh, there he is.
Hi, fellas.
Hey, Gary, what's going on?
All right, guys, how you doing? By the way, I'm very excited about your new TV show. Hopefully, we get it here.
I'm hoping. I don't want to throw too much into it, but at the same time, it's definitely a situation I would really love to get into.
So yeah, I'm a feminist. I have been since uni, because I did a lot of feminist literature and stuff like that. So the thing is, with a lot of women tend to be pressured in. I mean, what I've noticed is that women tend to get a lot of pressure to have sex with certain people, like in position of power or positions of, there's always the set, the couch, the what's it, the casting couch or whatever, or you ask somebody how they got a job, it's like, oh well, she had a sexual dalliance with the guy who's at the top, and that's what got her to the top. It's like, well, she get there on her own merits.
Okay. I mean, these are fairly specific situations, though. I mean, it's more of a general topic that we were looking for.
All right. Yeah, but there are guys who, I hate these guys, but there are guys who get women drunk just so they can take advantage of them, or get them whatever.
Yes, and I fully admit that there are pieces of shit on both sides. I mean, that's not something that I'm willing to. That's definitely not a hill I'm going to die on. But no, what I'm talking about is more just so the original feminists, they all they wanted was equal rights.
Yeah.
Whereas now you've got these radical feminists that essentially demand female superiority. Okay. Then you've got the Mgtow side, where they are trying to demand the reestablishment of male superiority, and it's like, no, there is a center of the road here that we can literally all come to a compromise with.
Well, I think it's because there's a lack of females in leadership roles. That's the problem, and I think that's the major problem that they're going through. Because when you don't see yourself representative, you don't tend to feel that your voice is being heard.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I can't remember what it was recently. I think it was a Germany leadership group, but the leader of Germany is a woman, and literally in this leadership group there was not a single female. It was all blokes. Now again, I think it was something to do with about female roles or how to get females into. And where's the female voice in that? and I think that's the problem that they have. That there's no representation for them. I think it's just.
Go ahead.
I try to remember the name of the group so we can bring it up because I remember it not that long ago. I think it's like the last year at least. But yeah, I think that's the problem, is that women don't see themselves in like power roles or powerful roles or being representative in things to do with, like, for example, I mean, you look at, for example, I think in your country, I mean, if I'm incorrect, please correct me. I think there was something recently where there was an abortion law brought back in, and there's like been talk about like it being put in, I think it was in Alabama, I think, if I'm not right. And I think it's been talked about in other states. Now, the thing is, if there are female voices of dissent of power in that, they would feel much more included. And I think that's where they're coming from, which is that things have been talking about their body and their experiences that aren't being represented.
Yeah. Let's see here. Sorry, there is one that's okay. So I've heard that argument before. One thing that I was wanting to check real quick. Apparently, countries like Rwanda, Cuba, and Bolivia, they actually have greater than 50% female politicians.
Yeah.
The problem is obviously in countries like that, you have a male in power, and usually they can override the female politicians without a problem. So, like I said, there's a lot of different arguments for and against something like that. But I actually have to agree with Ronan on this one. It's instead of, because I know Rwanda itself, it has something inside their laws that require them to have a certain percentage of women in the Senate. The issue I have against that is now you're trying to meet a quota versus allowing people to get in on their own merit. Okay, and unfortunately, that is. It's something that it would be something that you would have to, because that right there would be more of an inconsistency. I mean, obviously, the top three countries, when you look at just countries with the most female politicians, it pops up with those. But at the same time, that's not exactly something that you really need to worry about in certain situations. I mean, I'm fully aware that the United States is run by a bunch of rich old white guys, but in situations like that, what type of women would we be able to replace them with? Unfortunately, they're going to be a bunch of rich old white women. So until we actually change the policies and the qualifications regarding who can get in, then people like Ilhan Omar and who the hell's the vice president right now?
Right now? Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris, thank you. Sorry, I can never remember her name. But people like that are going to be incredibly in the minority. I mean, and on top of that, you look at these women under their own merit, and these are basically just women that were overly privileged, born to rich families, and really, I mean, they're not that much different from the spoiled rich white women, and those aren't the kind of people we need in power. We actually need people that care about We actually need people that care about the equality that they're claiming they do.
I think that social dynamic uh, where the bad people are in charge historically will not change. Myself, I'm just going to use myself. When I was younger, I'm a retired old person now. I'm 66.
Yeah.
When I was young, in my so-called years, productive years, right? Like many, the majority, I imagine, right? I was focused, right, on my family, my job, and the things that were right there relative to who I am and what I need to get done. And I'm not saying I'm a good person, but there are people out there, good people, who can, and if provided the opportunity, will, make this world a better place.
Yeah.
But for the fact that they have to engage in a field where it's all about deception, play along to get along, or else you're not
Yep.
part of us. And that having had it been established throughout history because of our animal behavior and development into society, it's most difficult to change because the person, like I said, I'm just using myself, but anyone else in my position doesn't want anything to do with the politics because we're focused on what we need to do, right? And that's the hard part, right? That altruistic effort, that extra effort, if you will, is
Hmm.
most difficult for most people who focus on family.
Yeah.
That's always been the case
Yeah.
throughout.
I'll agree with you on that one.
Throughout. But again, I know it's not me. I know there are good people out there who can think along the lines that you do and I do. And well, I just met Tony, so I can't speak for him. But and think, okay, we're rational people. Let's work together. We can get this done, right? Never mind, who's lining my pockets with all that money, right? This is what's best for society. The greater good needs to be prioritized as number one, goal, right? But we can't do that. Right?
Yeah.
We can't do that because, again, when I was there, I wasn't thinking about politics. Never thought about God.
Hmm.
Never thought about these modern situations at that time. I was so focused, as I'm sure many other people were, and that's why we can't overwhelm the corruption of government.
Yeah. I'll agree with you on that one. Especially with the career politicians and stuff like that, where they just want to be in government just so they can be in charge. I mean,
Right, right. Or yeah, they say be in charge. In charge of what? What they have to grovel
But
to. Go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say, but the thing is that a lot of females face a lot more blowback than like a male does. Like everything they do will get what's with pounced upon. Whereas if a male politician was to do that, they don't face half as much criticism. And I think it's about equality there. I mean, yeah, if a politician does wrong, they should face criticism, but it shouldn't be, I don't know, as bad. Let's say, for example, I mean, again, I like, for example, I'm trying to think of I'm sure there's female politicians that you have. Let's say, I don't know, Sarah Palin. Her,
okay.
her politics aren't as bad as something like Donald Trump. But yeah, you look
Yeah.
at the shit she got for just being the vice president. No, not the president, but the vice president nominee. And yet you look at the things that Donald Trump did, like the the wall, the children thing, the other things that he did and said. You imagine a female politician doing those. They wouldn't have gotten to the part of it would have been twice as bad the blowback.
Okay, so I can only really speak from the left of center point of view that I have, but comparing like the idiocy of Sarah Palin to the idiocy of Trump, and we're talking about a woman who claimed that she can see Russia from her backyard in Alaska, to a guy who claimed to be, or basically people were claiming that he was the reincarnation of Jesus, and turns around and quotes 2 Corinthians in the Bible. So I mean, we're they're they both got their ridicule, but like you would almost have to put it as a failed Republican nominee for president. Almost like you, because that right there, it's almost apples and oranges at that point, because you're looking at a nominee versus you're almost looking at a nominee versus somebody who actually got in. Your better comparison would be someone like Sarah Palin to somebody like Jeb Bush, who was also a clown. I mean, yeah.
Someone clap, please. That was famous line. Somebody clap.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, Jeb Bush thought he was going to get in just because his little brother did. So.
Right.
Oh, I don't know. I just when it comes down to politicians, I don't like any of them, really. I think the last politician we had that was even halfway decent took a bullet in the head.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that like a lot of women face a lot stringier blowback than men do. Men don't have to do. Men have to do twice as much to get the what's it, the ire or the downright. I mean, sexism. That I mean, like, as I said, Sarah Palin may be a bad example of what I'm trying to talk about, because I mean, she did say stuff that was just downright stupid, but
yeah,
but you know what I mean, like there are women. I mean, I'm sure that there's female politicians that we can go to who are actually fairly intelligent. I'm trying to think of them. What's her name now? The one who Elizabeth. What's her name?
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah. Like people get on her for saying that she's got 1/4 Cherokee blood or something, even though that's true actually.
No, that wasn't true. The claim she made versus what her actual DNA test showed was like horribly different.
No, but I mean, she seems like a good woman, and she seems like she wants to do right by the people that she serves. She doesn't seem to be a stupid person.
She doesn't, but her actions have definitely pointed her out to be a manipulative person. And that right there is definitely something that's frowned upon when you're trying to run for any type of office.
Cool.
So, I mean, unfortunately, I'm thinking American politicians, you're not going to find a good one in the bunch. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but at the same time, we ended up with Trump, so we're.
I would say that the point is to manipulate without manipulation. Play along to get along. We our side, whatever side that is, has an idea, and it's like whatever that is. I think it falls short because it doesn't, consider all sides again, and the best solution versus my side, your side. It's like, wait a minute, you've been arguing like this all along, and there's the best idea out there, but you don't want to acknowledge it. That seems to be the shortcoming in politics throughout.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one.
Yeah. My side is backed by the status quo, and the other side, well, we want to make things better for everyone. So there it is. The seed of the argument.
Yeah. And see, the problem is though, is with this kind of lunacy in our government. Trying to change things at any type of policy level is damn near impossible.
Yep.
And that's what we have to face.
Yeah, you have to have something incredibly surprising or dramatic happen. The best example would be Trump being elected. The Saturday after, there was a massive protest throughout cities. And I realized at that point, right, that, oh, these people were paying attention. And those people, a lot of those people, especially women, they're just the people like I was, right? Focused on the family,
Yep.
hey, my priorities are my job, the family, well, my family, the job, what I have to do in my world. And all of a sudden, something this dramatic happens. It happens in politics, for example, versus
Hmm.
Pearl Harbor, okay, versus Pearl Harbor. But the whole thing is that these people had been keeping up to that degree. And then, in other words, it wasn't that much of a priority until it happened. And then they came out in droves, right? And well, the rest is history, obviously.
Yeah.
That's what has to happen every time. I mentioned Pearl Harbor. We could mention anything that major, right?
Yeah,
Something.
pretty much any catastrophe.
Yeah. So, yeah. Pretty much so. Yeah.
But
It's like,
That's what we need.
Pearl Harbor, Sandy Hook, 9/11. I mean,
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
one of them.
You keep dropping those labels. Yeah. And they
Yep.
all hit. They all mark. Yeah.
yeah, but the thing is that like, it's that women feel that they're not being listened to when it comes to their danger and the problems they face on a daily basis. And I think that's something that I think that a lot of women just feel they're not, and that's the reason that you get the blowback. It's like when you're not listened to, you're gonna see this ridiculous shit because there's the stuff you actually want is camouflaged in that. Like for example, they want to be able to buy a flat on the ground floor without feeling being afraid that they're going to get attacked in some way,
Yeah.
or going out or on a like a mulling drone and having to look over their shoulder in case some creepy guy is there looking at them or whatever. Like,
And and see the issue, that issue right there. I am definitely not going to invalidate anything like that because women do have that as a serious problem. But the problem is that they do tend to they do tend to look at that out of everybody that they associate with. And a lot of those issues like that, like a woman having a place of residence on the ground floor, um, being sexually assaulted, stuff like that. It's not going to matter how attractive the woman is because most of those types of assaults aren't about attraction; they're about power.
no, I know that.
And that's something that's something that the guys have to take care of on our side. Okay, I do believe that there should be harsher punishments for essentially. I mean, there's a ton of crimes that definitely need harsher punishments. I think it's screwed up that you can go to jail for 15 years for a joint, but at the same time, that's approximately the same amount of punishment that you would get for abusing a minor. That's that's something that we would actually need to get somebody in policy level.
I can see why it would be such a light sentence for abusing a minor. It's been traditional behaviors throughout, right? There are no child whisperers out there. There's horse whisperers, but people before that used to train a horse by beating it,
Well, yeah.
and violence works based on our nature, human nature, right? Animalistic behavior, right? It works. So that's why the laws haven't been adjusted as such,
Well,
because there's still that traditional mentality, you know.
I was referring to sexually abusing a minor,
Well, yeah.
but yeah.
Well, yeah. But again, hasn't there been sexual abuse of minors throughout history and the Bible, if we want to pick on somebody?
I mean, there has, but doing something like that, we as a pseudo civilized society, we do know that that's wrong.
Right. But you just said
And
it. You just said it. Pseudo.
yeah, as a society pretending to be civilized.
That's right.
But,
Pseudo.
but
Good term. I'm not disagreeing with the term, but it was apt. It was
Yeah.
apt.
but I think, and this is just generally my opinion, I think it's because we put pressure on guys especially children, teenage children, we put a guilt on them if they're reverting past the age of 17, 18. And the thing is, some guys don't have that sort of relationship with a woman where they're comfortable coming to that sort of relationship physical stage. And the thing is that it happens at different stages for different people, and it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, once again, we get into the whole. We're getting into the whole thing about stigma, and like I said, I completely agree that there needs to be a more middle of the road thing. That basically the double standard in which guys and women are raised needs to be changed, as well as the double standard in which men and women are treated as adults also needs to be changed. The problem is how would we even accomplish something like that?
I think it's happening slowly but surely. One point is the fact that there are, well, historically, right, there's movies made, right, they're basically imitating human behavior. Nowadays, because of this social media, more kids, are apt to realize, hey, this is a better way of living. Because
Oh
this,
yeah,
my hero, whatever that hero may be online, right, behaves in such a way that is like conducive to a better society. Even though that person may be I don't know, they may be a drug addict, crook, whatever. What they portray, right, or what the children are witnessing, so to speak, right, and they're impressed by that, so they want to develop a better perspective in life and practice thereof. And I think, right, it has potential, right? It has potential, but with anything, there has to be something extraordinary happen. I'm not saying bad,
yeah.
right? It's like in music, right? Everybody got to rock and roll, and all of a sudden, this one band comes up, and boom, everything is memorable after that because of that one band. And the same thing with social media, right? If there's people out there that just happen to say those things or do those things and impress others, right? That's where society goes in terms of social dynamics, because we're all trying to basically emulate better behavior, unless we realize, or the character in nature dictates that the person be uh, a criminal, right? A few are prone to criminal tendency, but that's again the squeaky wheel. But the majority, I'm saying the majority of the group, right, the social group, there is that potential there. If it happens, I don't know. It might
Yep.
happen uh, in short order, or it may happen in 10 years. I don't know. But that's just the way ebb and flow goes in social dynamics. We don't know until it happens.
Oh no, I agree with you. One thing that I have noticed, though, especially here recently, because unfortunately my sister got me. My sister decided to show me TikTok, and that's where most of the feminism things that I've popped up have popped up. The problem that I'm seeing is that there are a lot of those squeaky wheels that you're talking about on both sides, and
Yes. Yes.
no, they're definitely on both sides, but the women that seem to be dealing with it, generally it's women that are like in their 30s, have multiple children by different guys, and are now pissed off because they have found themselves to be not necessarily unattractive, but undesirable. Basically, once they're ready to settle down, it turns out that nobody really wants to raise four other guys' kids,
Right.
and unfortunately, those are the loud and obnoxious ones that you see on like TikTok and the on the more popular social media, and that is giving women a bad name.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, and then you get the Mgtow guys that will literally take those clips and then turn around and go, "This is all women."
Yep.
Okay, and that's what's getting both sides in trouble, is the fact that you're so the way I phrased it earlier is women have a penchant for judging men by the worst of us. Okay, the whole thing about living in a flat on the first floor because of the chance of being assaulted by a man, just everything like that. That's because we're being judged by the absolute scumfucks of our gender, and the Mgtow, they're now starting to do the same thing, and it's like, no, both sides, you guys have to stop doing this. There's Crimson.
Well, I've got a story for you, right? I got a couple of weeks ago. I went to Glasgow. We went on this mural tours. Now Glasgow's got these really patently done murals. All wrong. Anyway, we come to the end of it, and there's this T-shirt printing shop that on it has the picture of Che Guevara, the very famous one. But it says Che Guevara is Greta Thunberg. Right. And some of the people bring up...
Okay, so hold on. It says Che Guevara, but it's Greta Thunberg?
No, it's a picture of... Do you know the image of Che Guevara? If you take the black and white one with the beret?
Yeah.
The very famous one, anyway. So instead of Che Guevara, it's Greta Thunberg. Anyway, somebody brings up the fact that Che Guevara has a little bit of a... I'm trying to find a nice way of saying it. Reputation as being a bit of a scumbag when it comes to women.
Okay.
They'll bring up the fact that this T-shirt group was being run by cis men, and they didn't get the idea that. And I was a little bit offended, thinking, well, what has nobody told them? Because he said, I didn't know about this about Che Guevara, that he was like this. I mean, I knew all the things about him, but I didn't know that he was like that. The thing is that it could just be the fact that they don't know.
I'm having issues following that one, but okay.
No, they're criticising the fact that this image of Che Guevara, well, Greta Thunberg dressed as Che Guevara, was on there because Che Guevara is a rapist, apparently.
Okay, so it was actually Greta Thunberg, and she was basically cosplaying as Che Guevara.
Hey, can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, Crimson.
I'm trying to see if I can find it. That's what it said, because I've got it on my Facebook.
Okay.
See if I can find it for you.
So, hey, Crimson, how you doing? And you're muted. Okay.
Oh, you go.
If you want to share your screen, I'll put it up.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that.
So basically...
You have to share your screen.
Oh, what's that?
So basically, both sides have the issue whereby they cannot control the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, the perspective is skewed based on simple selfishness or being unaware or having been taught, bad rules of behavior. It's usually a combination, yes.
Okay.
And a lot of it has to do with their own perceptions of themselves, deep down, right? Deep down, So I have to overcome this. I'm not, pretty enough or handsome enough. Both sides, right? And I mean, those again, that's a small percentage. There's squeaky wheels. I agree with you, but I do know I'm actually positive that that's going to happen. It's just going to be a different label in the future. Same thing as in the past.
Oh, it's going to be.
Yeah, it's just the flavor of the month, if you will, because those people really do cause problems in society because they're trying to aggravate, the standard flow of things where many want to communicate, share perspectives, we can compromise on this, just so-called civil behavior. where these people still want to stay in the so-called dark ages. We want to command, we want our freedom. Okay, yeah,
Hey, can
that's
you
the
guys
way
hear
to
me?
go. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can
All
hear you,
right,
Crimson.
all right, and I'm sorry, I'm on mobile, so if it sounds fucked up, I'll probably be home in the next 20 minutes. But
Okay.
you like this shit is like in my wheelhouse because, of course, as you know, I make videos about Mgtows and red pills, stupid motherfuckers, and
Okay. Yeah.
I don't like the audience. They're the audience of the people who do it. I feel like they are desperate people, and not in the sense of, oh no, can't take anything, but it's just a despair that they have. So much so that a lot of these guys, these thought leaders, they shit on their audience. They don't just like, oh yeah, no, women are bad, but they say women are bad, and this is why you'll never get to touch one ever again because you're bad too.
Oh yeah, that's it's like I said, it's at the very beginning. I made the comment. The reason why I've been gone for a month is because it's actually there's actually a psychological ploy within Mgtow that will literally target men that have depression and are feeling neglected, and that's the kind of shit that they get away with.
And
Okay, so
it's the
go
thing
ahead and remove
about it
that real
is,
quick.
my fault, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no
But
worries.
the thing about it is, we can chalk this up, and I know it's like the left's favorite boogeyman, but capitalism, we're so atomized right now, where it's broken down to the individual and individualism,
Yeah.
and it's just like, no, like when you've been told, oh, you know,
Ooh.
everything is catering to you, and then all of a sudden, else's decision about what you want to do factors in. Some people just can't handle that shit.
Yeah, I agree. Welcome in, Rod. Sorry, I had to mute you real quick. Your mic's kind of honky
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
yeah. No, sorry, I didn't hear a notification noise that let me
Oh,
know it was
sorry.
live.
How we doing?
I'm doing good, and I have a personal experience that I've shared with you before with radical feminism. When I went to a Trump rally, I think it was in 2016, and I went around Harvard in Boston.
Yeah.
So you know the kind of people that I ran into. Those are the people that like MGTOWs. They think all feminists are like that.
Yeah, pretty
Majority of
much.
feminists are not like that at all. But like I went there and I was in fatigues because I was in like the protest spirit of things. When I was there with my girlfriend, and I
Hmm.
got the dirtiest looks from like all these people who like just like the most extreme example of like feminists and like kind of anti-straight people, and like they were looking at me shitty because they thought I was a Trump supporter just because I had a girlfriend and was wearing fatigues. And yeah, that's ammunition that like not just MGTOWs but like conservatives use to fight against like actual feminists who actually want women to have rights.
Yeah. I can see how MGTOWs would use that, and I could definitely see how the radical feminists would be able to try to manipulate something like that. But
Yeah, I mean they didn't say anything to me, but like I could tell that like I just felt unwelcome for no reason. I was there to support the protest. I didn't like Trump.
I think what gets me is a lot of it still just falls under the conservative banner of they want people to just play what's considered traditional gender roles.
mhm.
And like you never see these and I hate to say it like this, the second wave feminists, the ones that are basically TERFs, it's never the ones that like you never see it really out of the more intersectional feminists that they be like, no, we want women to have these rights so it can help men too. It's just more of like, oh no, 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 no. You supposed to be this that then this and then the other, and still supposed to provide for me, but I'm supposed to have my freedom at no cost. And it's just like, hold on, if you want your freedom, that's cool, but it's a cost to it. And men who complain, like especially these MRA guys, like why do women de facto get kids? Did you like take care of the kid when they were younger, when they were a baby and needed diapers changed and shit like that? Were you also that part of the parent?
Well, wait,
And
hang on.
most of them say no.
You're actually getting into Mgtow on that one. I have noticed there is a difference between MRA and Mgtow. Most of the people that I've seen that are MRA, they still fully support child support.
Yeah, it's very similar to racism, that kind of mentality where you're losing some rights by giving other people rights, and that's not how that works.
Yeah,
I'm sure you guys went over the Mgtow that shot up that yoga studio in Florida.
No, I've not gotten into that yet.
Yeah, he shot 2 women and himself, and he has a very disturbing life when you actually look at the timeline of like crimes and stuff that he committed. Like, these people are a lot more dangerous than we give them credit for.
I think that kind of goes into what me and Ronan were talking about when he first got on here. That's more of the radical sides of it.
Oh yeah,
and,
but I mean, there's enough of them for it to be disturbing. I mean, look at the Groypers, Nick Fuentes, little ball suckers. Like they've if you look at their, like, you know, the communities they hang out in, they say very disturbing things about what they want to do to women, like as revenge for just not automatically being like
But you gotta
every
remember with
woman they
those
want
guys,
being attracted to them.
yeah.
But you know, you got to remember with those guys, half of them are closeted gay. Like, that's not, being derogatory. Like, look at Nick Fuentes. He is, by all admissions, attracted to men, and
Yes,
he hates women.
he is.
That's.
I've seen plenty about Nick Fuentes. He's quite the character. I have a groper that I work with who's actually my manager, who has power over me at the deli I work at, and I can tell, like, he's kind of brainwashed by that mentality, which is strange because he has a girlfriend and 2 kids.
But that's the thing about, like, that ideology. Even if an incel has sex, they still have the mentality of an incel. It doesn't really matter about the whole, if I'm getting sex or not. Like, it's really about the whole, I believe this is supposed to be this way.
Excuse me, Clinton. Incel, the definition in and of itself states that the man is celibate, but involuntarily so. In other words, there's no way the man has sex. That's the definition of incel versus Mgtow, which is different, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
There's another kind of incel, right? Which, like, their definitions are all screwy. There's one where they're like, I'm voluntarily celibate.
Ball cell, incel, a gym cell, a brain cell. Yes, it all comes down to people that are upset because they can't have sex when they want to. That's all it really is.
No. Again, the strict definition is involuntarily celibate. Celibate being the key point, right? Because a person can be celibate by choice, but this is involuntary because he doesn't want to be celibate. He wants to have sex, but for his attitude.
It gets real messy when you try and define it when you talk to these people.
Well, no, can we move on, please? I just have issues with definitions being correct because everything gets reinterpreted a lot, so I had to look it up. So can we move on, please?
But the thing about it is, I've actually delved into their community as just like looking at their videos to like really figure out why the fuck are they this way. And even they will even talk about people who say they are incels, but they go into you look this way. you shouldn't have a problem. And it's more than just the whole I can't have sex because I can't have sex. It is more than that. It is a mindset. And I understand the technical definition of it is one way, but that is not how it's being treated.
Well, it's not a mindset.
It is.
You know,
But it is a mindset.
no. What is happening is internal, which means it's coming from the outside. It's not external. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's coming from the out. It's coming from reality. No, we women, or I guess men, I don't know, don't want to have sex with you for an obvious reason to us, right? So that's internal. That what you receive from the world. That's what the label means. That the world has practiced this definition upon you. You will be celibate involuntarily so because we, the men or women, don't want to have sex with you. That's technically what it is. Again, can we move on, please? I just don't want to.
Yeah, I think we need to.
I don't want to belabor the definition where we can, continue on the topic, please.
I actually have to agree with Ronan on that one. Crimson, I did have a question for you. I just wanted to double check something here. You said that you do a lot of reviews on Mgtow and Incel and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you find that you have to be in the right frame of mind when you do those reviews?
Not really. So I've been open about this. I literally was married for 15 years, and my ex cheated on me. I didn't start hating women. No, I actually really enjoy the company of women. I just realized people are shit, and they follow their own desires and do shit that would actually, in the best sense of words, never attribute to malice, what can easily be attributed to ignorance. Which the mindset that I have to be in is people that make up stupid shit and try to use half facts and to try to fit post hoc fit their justification. It's just that a lot of these people are just crappy people, not bad people. They're just crappy people that would benefit from actually talking to somebody.
Yeah, but I personally think, and this is just me, I think it's a lot of social pressure on them because you look at people, whenever someone says, "Oh, I've had sex with 2 women," and a man says, "Oh, I've had sex with 6 women," he gets he gets venerated when this guy who's had sex with 2 women doesn't. He gets made fun of and says, "Oh, you had sex with 2 women," so there's a social pressure there on that guy, and then you're thinking, well, what's wrong with me than this guy? This guy could be a condescending prick, he could be a flaming total douchebag, but when he comes to women, there's something in his personality where he can, almost like a button or a switch as a change to be something different to women. That makes him not really irresistible, but more attractive. Whereas this person is the same to everybody, and he doesn't have that same switch. And the thing is that he gets more women who are more discerning. So the thing is, there is social pressure in there that I think does contribute to this.
Yeah, it's one thing that I noticed with a lot of them aren't horribly unattractive, and there's no real reason they shouldn't be able to have relationships except what's in their head.
Right.
Because I saw this Scottish guy who he made a video. He's like, I call this video "When I'm Alone." And he's like, no woman wants me with my dry, cracked lips. It's like, get some fucking chapstick. Like, he wasn't a bad looking dude at all. He could be swimming in puss, but it was all in his head. He couldn't eat. He's so locked up when he's in the same room as a woman, he can't even talk to her.
So here's what my thing is, and this is I have 2 points I want to say. I normally say this facetiously, but I say there shouldn't be any incels in a world where Danny DeVito exists.
Yep, exactly. Danny DeVito and fucking Joe Pesci get laid. So what's your problem?
And when you think about it, and these are I'm not talking about after they were rich. I'm not talking about after they were famous. No, they literally would just, hey, person. Danny DeVito tells the story. He's like, I used to go up to the tallest girl in the room when I know she would feel awkward, and I would just treat her like a person, and we would actually have fun together. And it's just like I look, I'm 5'7", 300 plus pounds, but I still have women that are interested in me. It's not and I'm definitely not rich, and I'm a bit of an asshole, but I treat women like they're just people. Like it doesn't take that much. All you have to do is just instead of treating like a walk-in life support system for like a vagina, like treat them like a person.
It's apparently very difficult for some people. They can't get past the like reptilian thought process behind like mating.
But that's nature. That's expected. Come on. I was a young man. I made that mistake. Yeah, I learned my lesson quickly. I got lucky. Okay, and
But
so
it's not.
it's gonna
It's
happen.
not nature.
That's
It's
nature.
literally stuff. It's literally stuff that we can literally socialize more people to do. It's not
No,
nature.
It is. It can be taught.
but that's what happens in nature. Either the life form adjusts or becomes extinct. And overall, because not everyone is the same age, knowing the same thing at the same time, and that's obviously what we humans have to become aware of, so we can explain things with better terms that have more impact,
But
right?
here's the thing. Here's the part about the whole nature argument. You know the our closest cousins that gets the most puss are betas. They are literally people who actually take care of the group, that are kind to the group. They run around and get most of the gooch. The big alphas, and in cases where the alphas get more mating opportunities, that's not because they're the biggest and the strongest. That's because they actually help the group more. That's what our nature is. We are a social species. And for to sit back and say, "Oh, I need to be an alpha and I need to do this," it doesn't get you anywhere. And the problem with the whole alpha, fetishization, because it's a fetish, is a lot of the
Well,
guys
well, well,
that
well actually, well, I think, right? It comes from animal behavior, which we are fundamentally. Before that, it was reptilian. Fine. Let's move forward, right? We came out of animal behavior, right? And we became our own species with higher order thinking skills, right?
right.
However,
Look at
however,
look at
however, how,
bonobos.
let me finish my point, please. However, we did not come with instruction, and coming out of animal behavior, we're transitioning into civil behavior over time. We're a young species. We just figured out how to read and write. We just figured out how to so-called communicate and try to build a better world, the greater good, if you will. But we will have that, right, for a long, long time, where you have that difference, right, between like the alpha male who takes it all by power and force, animal behavior, and the civil person who says, can we agree to get this accomplished? Okay, so this is where we are, and we're just parsing detail at the moment. But again, if we go
No, no,
going
no, no,
forward,
no, no,
I
no.
would be more
I
apt to
don't think
be
you heard my
patient with
explanation.
someone. Pardon?
I don't think you heard my explanation. My
No,
explanation
no.
literally was our closest genetic cousins was our our don't believe in that whole alpha male thing. They literally treat people like they don't treat the biggest and
Well,
strongest like
okay,
that.
okay,
No, they treat people who
okay.
are the most
Excuse me,
helpful.
Crimson. I missed it. Cousin, could you tell me the name of that cousin?
The Manobos and the Gibsons, they even
Oh,
did a
hold on,
study
hold on, hold
recently.
on, hold on. I got it. No, no. Bonobos, they have their own way of doing it. If the men, if the men get all out of sorts trying to dominate one another, all the females line up and there's film footage of it, and put arms over shoulders on each other, and that tells the men, you're not going to get any 11 tonight if you keep acting up that way. And all the women, all the females, right, young to old, that they stand right there, because the way they believe in things and practice things. Hey, how you doing? They have sex right there and then. Everything is normal that way. But when the
Yeah,
men
I was gonna say a lot of the conflicts between bonobos with the males, like they'll kind of resolve it by like kind of rubbing their dicks together until they both come. It's really weird.
Well, yeah, but that's how they structured their society, right? And so there is opposition at all
What
times. There's
what
always
I'm
opposition.
saying is that the fact is this whole chest beating alpha shit is literally shit that is only made up to reinforce a system in place that we structured some of our societies from, that we actually believe that was the majority of human culture. That's not the case.
No,
Like,
again. Okay, simply put, I'm trying to put this. Okay, there's phallocentric and there's gynocentric. Okay, the phallocentric mindset is what's normal.
we're a mixture of species of both.
No. This is something else. This is something else. Okay, I didn't read it anywhere. I figured this out. There's a phallocentric effort and a gynocentric effort. You understand phallus and gyno, right?
Yeah.
Okay. On the phallocentric side is where we're at. We try to get it all right now, hence the fact that we war and try to kill each other. The gynocentric, using the bonobo model, is where the men who are that aggressive yield
Yield.
knowing
Knowing
better,
better. Knowing better.
knowing better.
Hold on.
Let me
Sorry.
finish. Let me finish. Knowing better, those alpha males knowing better that they will become incel, because those females are not going to engage with him. That's a gynocentric mindset. In other words, they think ahead, plan for the future. Where phallocentric is the right here and now. We're going to win it all, and I don't care how much we pollute the earth. Where we could have engaged using hemp fiber, right, to replace all the paper that could have been out there in the middle of the ocean, breaking
Oh,
down.
DuPont ain't gonna have that.
Feeding fish. No, there's a bunch of plastic because of phallocentric mindset. I'm putting it all together here for you. Okay.
I want to shift
Again,
a little bit
but
to
within
like
the bonobo, within the bonobo,
Hang on, Rob.
there is structure. Again, it's gynocentric, and I'll go over there. I'll go with the bonobos, man. I'll behave, dude. I'll behave. I got no problem. I'm gonna get me some loving tonight. Versus this guy over here that I don't care. We're gonna go out there and win the West. No, nothing for me tonight except I'm gonna try to find gold. Yeah, that's typical. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that's the approach, right? Phallocentric. And understanding that difference, we can realize if we can mix the two in a good balance and promote it in society, man, we're gonna work towards the greater good. But we can't do that right now, knowing where we are, right? And understanding that it doesn't matter, man. If you get three people together, one's young, middle of the age, and real old, they can communicate, but they don't learn anything. They're just confused because the other one doesn't understand what's going on. You understand? That's the way we
But
are. That's what
isn't
we
that
are.
just like a total loss of belief that humans can grow and change? I mean, like you're mentioning like naturalistic things. Like, I'm driving a car right now. We're talking over fucking light waves right now. That's not part of nature, or the original part of nature.
Well, the thing about us is that we have higher order thinking skills, and having had thought in the abstract, we develop a mechanism, but we are still traveling. If we are in a vehicle or walking, it's still travel. I mean, that's just physics, basic. That's it. The sophistication is all the ideas that we employ as individuals in our world. That's the difference. In my world, it's fair that everybody's working together, it could be okay. But if my world goes over to another world, a group of people, because they believe in different things or we look different, there's going to be issues there. That's just nature.
But
And what we have to overcome is
is
educating
educating
everybody
every.
into understanding that we are all one species but have different perspectives. That's
yeah,
the
but
hard part.
yeah, but the thing is that like you look at the social situation, like for example in America, if a guy gets like laid, like I don't know, 4 or 5 times in a month, he's seen as the man. If a guy doesn't, then he's a loser. And see, that's the that's what gets an insult, man. Is because we put social pressure on guys to have a certain level of sexual activity, otherwise they're a loser. You know, that's gonna. Not every guy has the it factor with the ladies. Some guys, it's more of something they've either got to learn, or there's something they've got to overcome for it, or there's different other things. But I think it comes with the fact that we put social pressure on everybody, and not everybody's the same.
I want to say it like this. So
There.
I'd be like this. I think a part of another reason is just this deification of competition. Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna be this. If I always compare myself to carnivorous, I would end up with a complex
Why?
because, well, dude, you get to travel more than I do. I only travel
well.
like 45 miles a day to go to back and forth to work.
Oh, I generally cover 2,000 a week or so.
What? See, 45 miles versus 2,000 a week. I'm currently without a partner. I'm sure, Carnivorous, you have a partner or have had in the last 2 years.
I'm currently sitting on 3.
Oh, damn! Like, I, my penis just lost 2 inches. Now I'm almost like Rev. I just have to divide by 3.
No, the baby carrot.
But that's what I'm talking about. My competition isn't somebody else. My competition is me yesterday.
Yep.
If I could interject a little bit, one thing that I did want to go over, I don't have a whole lot of time left. I got to go to the deli and work under that fucking groiper.
Okay.
So, like, I think like the incel thing is a lot more dangerous than people think because of a lot of like individual cases of what I'd consider domestic terrorism, like here and in Canada. Like you got one of the biggest domestic terrorist events ever in Florida when that nightclub got shot up. I think it was like 100 people or something crazy that got mowed down by a guy who was clearly a closeted gay, and like that led to that. Then you have Manassian in Canada who plowed over 7 people with a van, and you have Elliot Rodger. He's one of the most famous ones. And like, there's a reason that the federal government's giving a subpoena to Nick Fuentes right now, because like they're seeing that this is like becoming a problem. Not one that's going to like wreck the country entirely, but it's going to lead to a lot of dead people.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
I haven't followed his subpoena yet. What progress it made with it.
So the problem, I get what you're saying, but the problem isn't that they're just, incels or men that can't. It's the fact that they are angry people with no feeling of self-worth, and those are prime people for fascists to try to give some sort of meaning to life, or say, hey, I can protect you, just be my brown shirts.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's like you can't help when you look into them, but like empathize a little bit with these people who are just like so alone and like sad and angry. And like they say, every man's an island. These guys are on a different fucking planet. Like they feel like there's no one they can connect to a lot of the time.
Yeah, I can agree with that. A lot of what I've seen, Crimson, you've seen a lot more Mgtow stuff than I have, but I'm pretty sure you can at least agree that you do have to have a certain amount of, emotional maturity and logic to be able to stay the hell out of there, right?
Yeah, and just like like I have an overwhelming sense of self assuredness of who I am. So
Mm.
that also helps. Maybe to the point of um it's like yes, you have to have a strong sense of self, but in reality, what really helps is empathy. Because if you don't realize that it's one of those things that you it's the reason why I get so upset about African American people who say all white people are evil because you lack the empathy to say that hey that there are white
Yeah.
people that go through the same shit you do. So a lot of it is also just like empathy. If you think that somebody else is less than you and you are deserving of everything everything above that, chances are a lot of people don't have empathy.
Yeah, there's a lot that don't. I I think that's one of the reasons why I ended up in the wrong frame of mind when I was doing my little deep dive. Is I admittedly am not very emotionally mature because I had a major issue when I was like 5, where I lost both my grandparents and my great grandmother within a year of each other, and my mom had a nervous breakdown. She wasn't seeing anybody at the time, so it was basically I had to step up, lock my fucking emotions off, and essentially be her rock. And unfortunately, I never really bothered turning my emotions back on up until recently. So I my one saving grace is the fact that I have a very good capacity for introspection. So I was able to get out of that mind frame quicker than I normally would, but it still put me in a really bad place.
And I get that. I was like that myself for a
Mm.
while, and it was just like, but in my teenage years, because like, can I say it? I like to touch titties. I was friends with a lot of women, and so
Yeah.
I started hearing about. You know how you heard about the story about 1 out of 4 women are sexually assaulted in some kind of way.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
actually looked up that study. The wording on that thing was very vague.
No, it's actually pretty close to what happens. And I'm not saying just like, R word, but like in some kind of way. Yeah. And I've ran into a
Yep.
lot of people that was like that, and I was like, okay.
Okay, so the one that I saw was 1 out of 5 people, but it was like a survey questionnaire
Hmm.
that linked almost everything from inebriated penetration to unintentionally getting groped, and it was literally just 1 out of the 5 people that actually answered the survey.
But that's like the whole certain percent of trans people are regret transitioning, when the study really was their parents think that they regret it. But when I saw that study, I know what you're talking about, how they looked into it, but even if it was how to put it like this, it shouldn't include unintentional groping, but there are a lot of times where women are just groped for with no permission of themselves.
Oh no, I completely agree,
And
and something like that's shitty behavior on men's part.
and the sad part about it is the biggest amount of SA that happen are actually men, but it goes unreported.
Yeah.
And it's just like that
Well,
shit.
okay. No, perfect example. Because I've actually been essayed twice. Um, the reason why it goes unreported is if the perpetrator is a woman, there are a lot of states that don't consider that sexual assault.
Yeah, and that's stupid.
Oklahoma, unfortunately, is one of them.
That. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No.
So
I'll admit to something that's very embarrassing that I did when I was 7 or 8 years old. It's probably like pretty close to sexual assault. So I was at like a swim park, where they have all like water slides and shit like that. And I was in the wave pool. And once in a while, they turn up the rudders and they make a giant wave. And there was this black lady with the biggest titties I'd ever seen as an 8-year-old. And I intentionally placed myself behind her so she'd get smashed into me by the wave pool. And then I'm like, just like all water and titties flopping around. And I regret that. That was pervy.
You were 8.
that's definitely pervy. But
How old were you? Excuse me, how old were you?
I was 8 years old.
Yeah, we could pass
No,
it.
no,
You're
no,
right.
no, no. It's not pervy at all. Okay, what? Okay, here we go.
I would say that would more qualify as exploration of your
Well, no,
sexuality.
I think that it is.
I don't know. I think the wave pool was complicit in my in a grope practically. I didn't grab her, but like I definitely got smashed by giant titties, and that's what I wanted.
Well, no. If you're trying to use 2020 vision in going into retrospect, I think you might be missing a point here. The fact is, as I know it, right, when a child is born, right, gets cleaned up, one of the first thing the child encounters is the breast. So it's normal to want to go back to the breast indirectly. So as a child, for example, I saw Tinkerbell for the first time. I was a little kid, right? And I experienced my first erection, right? And that was normal. I felt embarrassed later on thinking about it. But now, as an older person, I realize, oh, that's just nature all along. So I'm not going to feel regretful. No offense, but please, I'd rather you label that with some other word because no, it's not a regret.
But
it's just natural.
That's different than actively have somebody participating in that whole fantasy. Like, no, that's different. And I'm sorry, I knew I liked titties at 5 years old. That's how I knew I was straight. I like women. So like that's close to SA. I'm sorry. That is just close to it. Because if that was a 14-year-old, 30-year-old, it's still SA. Doesn't matter. Like you're like, yeah, I'm gonna try to touch breasts without somebody's permission. That's SA.
I think the only thing that saves you is the fact that you said you were 8. And
yeah,
that's more.
Well, I felt bad about it because I didn't realize how it was wrong.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the childhood innocence at that point in time would be the only thing that saves you from calling it SA.
No, but the thing is, you were aware of it, and you told yourself, "Hey, I missed it," in so many words. And that's
there you go, right
there. That's growing. That's becoming a better person, which is good on you.
Yeah, it was a pretty boneheaded thing to do, I think, even for an 8-year-old, because it's like, what am I going to come in the 2 seconds this lady's smashing into me in a wave pool? It's like, no, obviously not. There's no end game that made any sense.
Queen Cat Lady, I'm pretty sure that everyone on panel has had a childhood cartoon crush. So.
Oh yeah. Tinkerbell for me, man. That was it. When I was a little kid, man, I was like, I'm in love. I didn't know it, but I know I was that excited.
Elisa Maza from Gargoyles.
Yeah.
The cop. I had a crush on her like crazy.
How though?
What?
Wait. She was a cop. No, I'm joking, but no.
She was also half black, half Native American, and she was, very curvaceous. And I had a major thing for long hair for the longest time.
No, to be honest with you, I would say I respected her candor and courageousness. But like Dick moved traveling around the world without telling your family that you gone, and that was addressed in the episode too.
Yeah, I mean, her family got onto her about that.
You gotta admit.
You were talking about emotional honesty. I think that's really like the healthiest route for like any of these Mgtow or incel people that want to get better. Because like it took me a while to get in tune with my emotions. Not trying to be some macho asshole. Like I'll watch Lion King to this day, and I'll sob like a baby. Like I'm not afraid to admit that. Like it's healthier.
Yeah, I'm still unlocking that portion, so I'm actually leery about watching movies now.
Oh, there's so many movies that make me cry. And, like, I'm not afraid to. Like, I'm not embarrassed at people seeing me do that. And that's just me. I don't expect everyone to be that way. But, like, a lot of these MGTOWs and incels, they benefit from that. Just, like, you're allowed to have feelings. And you're allowed to be honest about it.
For me, I don't cry because I see crying is pointless. Stirred by the emotion, of course, I'm a fucking artist, so I don't care about that. But crying is like, what's the point? But like that feeling, that emotional, like that hit to the gut. Like, I watch a lot of anime, and like that scene where you get in Naruto Shippuden, where he's actually talking to his father for the first time. He's like, "Why did you think that I can do this?" He's like, "Well, you're my son, and of course I thought you can do it." It's just like, damn, that just like hits me. Like, I don't mind feeling the emotions, but like crying is just not my thing. I do something with those.
I really only cry during movies, weirdly. Like, I don't cry at funerals or weddings and shit like that. Things that people normally cry at, but like I cry during movies. Like that, you like watch The Road and try not to cry with Viggo Mortensen. Oh my god.
See, for me, most of my emotional thing was from books. There's a series of books that I listened to by James Axler. It's called Deathlands, and it's post-apocalypse and stuff like that. So it's got all kinds of weird stuff in it.
Is it a fun, happy story?
No, there's like 115 of them now. So I mean, each one's got its own little hook. But there is like in the late teens, there's a section where they end up with this kid that gets pulled from like 1999 from a monastery and pulled into this post-apocalyptic future, and you literally see him over the course of a few books. You see you see him like end up with a severe depression, and he starts snapping at everyone in the group and everything like that. And finally, one of the previous characters that had come back in, when he had left the group, he ended up getting married and having a kid and everything like that. Well, the wife ended up getting Ard and murdered, and then the daughter ended up getting slammed against the barn wall. And needless to say, that right there puts you into a mind frame right there. And then like the next chapter, they're trying to find this character Michael, and the main character's son is his 10-year-old son is the one that finds him out in the barn hanging from a rafter.
Yeah,
and then they find the suicide note, and like as you're reading the note, he's addressing each character and apologizing for everything, and it's like, god damn, that hits hard. And
if you like that kind of stuff, you'd like the book that The Road was based off of. It's pretty much identical to the plot of the movie. The movie was very faithful to the original source. It's very, very well written. And none of the characters have names because they're in a nuclear fallout apocalypse, so like names don't really matter.
That's
like how would you know if you're the last man on Earth? When everyone's starving to death and like most of the population is basically gone. How would you know? The main character walks around for like a year without seeing another human being.
That shit. And I know this may seem trivial, but that shit reminds me of like a story called Hawk the Inn. It's a Marvel, obviously a Marvel comic,
Oh, okay.
where he's the last person around, and the only person that is around with him is Bruce. And eventually,
Thanks for coming in, Ronan.
Bruce
Sorry.
dies of a heart attack, and he's left alone. And that shit is just sad. I like say what you want about the MCU, but if you can get some good Marvel comics, that shit is good. But go ahead.
Oh no, I just yeah. There's a lot of the comics that I mean, Marvel comics especially I enjoy.
I kind of like how I grew up literally shoeless dirt poor, and I didn't have access to a lot of comics, so I kind of liked seeing what was it, Infinity War, because I had no idea about the lore, so it was like all new to me. It was all fresh.
Oh, you should if you can go get the trade of the actual Infinity Gauntlet storyline. It's a lot better.
Yeah, one of my friends has been getting really back into comics because he's trying to stay away from like the internet because he doesn't think it's that healthy to be on as much as he has. And yeah, he just got a new tablet, and he's been getting all kinds of comics and stuff. And I've been thinking about doing that too. It's not healthy to just sit on your computer all day.
Damn it! I sit on my computer all day. To be fair, I watch YouTube a lot because I have no TV, and I also create. So, but that
fuck TV for one thing.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. I'd rather cut my own fucking head off than like get one of those like, like sports network packages that cost you like $150 a month.
But you know what? To be honest with you, I stay off of hell sites too much, like Twitter and Facebook.
I have no involvement on Twitter.
Yeah, no.
I have a Twitter. I have a Twitter account. That's about it. I don't think I've ever actually posted anything.
Another thing too with the whole Twitter thing is I use it to like promote my shit, and I know if I get on there more, especially being a lefty creator, I can probably get more. But it's just like I see the shit that Twitter does, and now we have video Twitter. It's called TikTok. That's worse.
I'm glad I don't have a TikTok
platform.
Account. That's
so
yeah.
The problem with both of those platforms is that because it's bottled down to so short of a time frame, people are hyperbolic with what they try to say, and it leads to all sorts of shenanigans and like things that really do take more effort to actually explain. You get people who are just like, oh no, this is going to be this simple to break down, and like no, like life is not simple. You can't break down life that easily. That's not how that works. But you can't tell some people certain shit because they want life to be simple.
Yep.
That's part of the ADD cycle of media engagement that like a lot of people have just become accustomed to because of social platforms like that.
No, I wouldn't say that, because before that, the church told you it's good and evil, and all you have to do is just be good, and everything will be working out fine. Like, it just takes energy to learn shit, and a lot of people don't want to. And I understand why they don't want to, because it's hard. Always checking your moral compass and what you believe against shit. It's hard. It takes energy, and it drives me insane that I do it and I still can't stop.
Okay, sorry. Speaking of ADD, Crimson, I'm sorry. Is that a blue hanger with a with an orange bottom on it, or is that part of the shirt?
No. That's actually a pencil.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got distracted on that one. I was like, "What the hell is the bottom of that hanger doing?"
So normally when I'm streaming, I actually have the lights off. People can't see the shit. Like I have what's colloquially called bisexual lighting in my background, and I have the lights off. and it's not a dig at somebody, but it's just like, you know how you see the Twitch streamers
Yeah.
that yeah. So yeah. But yeah, no, that's just some I have the lights on and everybody can see inside of my house type shit.
Oh, no worries. I mean, I like the pictures in the back. I was just, I guess the pencil or whatever the orange thing is, it kind of like pulls the eye, and I was like, what is that?
And then I have two right there, so it's just like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, oh fuck. Anyway, but now like with the whole thing with the Mgtow and the feminist shit, it's just like two sides of the same coin. It's just toxic masculinity. Like that's just.
Yeah, it's you flip that jizz crusted sock inside out. You got feminists out of the Mgtows.
And that was the thing that I was looking at too. Is a lot of them the points that they make that are actually even partially valid. They're literally saying the same thing, just targeting different audiences.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that was frustrating the hell out of me. But then, of course, like I said, I had my own mental hang-ups on it, and I ended up shutting down for a while.
And it's hard not to, like, see this shit as just, like, I fucking hate humanity. And I'm a fucking leftist. I'm not supposed to hate humanity. I'm supposed to actually want humanity to get better. But it's hard to see that shit as, like, y'all all are trash. And you get to this doing this whole both sides shit, and it's just like, really?
Well, and here I am talking about wanting to go, out into the middle of the woods and get away from humanity for 6 months.
And I think
hey, sometimes it helps.
A
lot of guys I know who do that. They do that to get away from their wife.
Well, I mean, I don't have a wife, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to irritate a lot of people if I'm gone for that long.
Oh, I know one person that I talk to every day, and her dad very clearly is building a cabin out in the woods because his wife's fucking insane, and he just wants like some peace.
What gets me is, and what keeps me grounded is, I have now a 15-year-old, and like the thing about it is, I don't want the world to be better for her, and I need to actually fix the world and shit like that. No, I want her to also have the tools to fucking fix the world, because what kills me is that this whole idea and this whole thing of just like, oh well, the world is this way. Do you not have the power to change it? Like, do you think it's just this way and it needs to stay that way? Why not change it?
Yep, and that's something that I've been dealing with my kids as well. Is I caught what you were saying, where you didn't want the world to be better for your daughter, but I was going to play off on that, because that was actually something that I normally say about my kids. Is I don't want the world to be better for my son. I want my son to be better for the world. And
yeah, there's certain unchangeable things that they have to adapt to.
Mm-hmm. And it also ties into the fact that I have one son that is LGBT, and then I have another one who is unfortunately a misanthrope. So it's why do kids have to be so different? It's the same genetics.
I mean, I say it like this, like, regardless of what my daughter ends up wanting to bang when she gets older, I don't give a fuck. I just want anybody that like does anything wrong to her or tries to control her, the only question she should be asking me, where do we hide the body?
I mean, I love my kids. At this point in time, it would not surprise me or bother me if one of them came out as like trans. It would just be a matter of, it's like, okay, you're 12, or sorry, you're almost 15 now. We kind of need to get you on them hormone blockers, otherwise you're not going to be a very effective trans, because you're still going to be growing a beard and have a deep husky voice. So
yeah, I know a lot of people in transition, and I support people who've really researched it, and like they actually know what they want to go through with it. because like it is a mental disorder like any other one, and the treatment is transition.
What kills me is that people think that it's supposed to be all one way, all one. It's just like no, people have certain places they want to go, and like sometimes it's mostly social transition and stuff like that. Sometimes it's a transition to non-binary, and it's just like I like nobody tells me, "Hey, Crimson, you need to be a man." Like, no, it's something I choose. So why would I expect somebody to why would I expect to tell somebody something like that? No, it's you can be who you want to be. Somebody don't tell me, oh, you can't play video games. I'm gonna look at them like they fucking crazy. No, I like it because this part of my personality. Somebody told me I couldn't be an artist. I would. Where do we hide the body?
Yeah, and like I want to be very clear. I'm not being insulting at all when I say that being trans, it is in fact a mental disorder, but that's not to be insulting, because that's like I don't blame someone for being depressed or needing medication for that. Like, they need a treatment, and transition is the treatment for them.
I mean, there are certain things about something like depression. It's one of the most common mental disorders. Something like that. There are certain factors that I would blame the person for. Myself is a perfect example. My depression is tied to my weight. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm back up to almost 300 pounds. If I can drop down below 260, my depression's gone.
So it's a body image thing.
Exactly, and it's directly correlated with my weight, and that's something that I can't just blame my hormones for. I mean, granted, yeah, it's my hormones that are doing it, but at the same time, it's because I can't put down the damn fork.
Yeah, you still have some level
that
of
was
autonomy.
actually very, very interesting. Recently, and I fucking hate that I sound like YouTube University, but at one point, people used to only need to work 15 hours a week to cover their living expenses, and then they can do the rest of the time, I don't know, being productive, doing other shit that they felt that was beneficial to them.
15 hours a week.
Oh, that's a whole rabbit hole when you want to talk about inflation versus revenue.
I was about to say, I go to work Monday morning, I get off work Friday evening. So,
the thing about it is, no, and I will say this, productivity, 28 hours is really what we are capable of a week.
One of my friends,
once you start doing that, you start leading into like decreased mental states.
Yeah.
One of my friends who lives in Florida, where the wages are fucking spectacular, he worked 90 hours last week.
Yeah,
he showed me his pay stubs.
Oh,
that is, of course, that's of course Benzilla. Shout out to Benzilla, one of the best guys I ever met. All right, I do have to go and close my deli and work with that fucking Groiper. So we're back on topic again.
Okay.
All right, you have a good one, guys. Good talking with you.
Yep. Let's see here, Queen Cat Lady. That is a slippery slope. I have not figured out a way to, to convince bigoted people about pretty much anything yet, other than to basically shame them publicly until they realize they're being stupid. But we all see how good that goes with G-Man.
You know what? To be honest with you, I think G-Man has bought so much into that sunk cost that if one day he was like, you know what, if like he had absolute proof that he there was no God or something like that, or he didn't have the right God, he would try to swing from somewhere.
Oh yeah, G-Man is a perfect example of somebody that I've given up trying to deconvert. Just because if he were to actually be convinced that there was no God, he would either go on a killing spree or he would final solution himself. And
that's sad.
It's
really sad.
It's horrible. But I mean,
and wait. I'm gonna say this. Not that we're wishing for it, G-Man. Where nobody's wishing for it. I'm saying that I wish you would be better. That won't happen. So we're just gonna put that out there.
Oh no, yeah, context, yeah. Because I'm pretty sure somebody showed him a little snippet. And yeah, apparently, I think I said it earlier, but I just wanted to remind that, apparently our resident Heffalump decided to call me a map again last night.
Who?
Shanny.
That fucking... okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, like I said, that's why I called her a Heffalump.
Pink elephant.
Yeah.
I had to watch the original Dumbo, even though that scene was just racist as shit that came after that. But
oh yeah, I was about to say the elephants or the crows.
The crows, yeah, exactly.
The
Jim Crows, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're apparently they heard what I said when I turned around and said the women that I pick myself being attracted to, I choose half my age plus 9. And of course, we all know word problems are hard, but apparently they thought that meant that I was attracted to minors, and it's like, no.
How old are you?
Because
how old do they think you are?
I would love to know, because like I said, I was recently attracted to somebody in the community. I didn't say a fucking word about it until after I discovered she was like 29, and I even like I was embarrassed. I admitted, it was like, you don't look 29. That's the reason why I haven't, or that's the reason why I don't talk to you or didn't talk to you like that beforehand. And it was, it's just fucking ridiculous. And yeah, because hell, even Lubis earlier, he said something about Jules, and it's like, no, Jules is 24. She is way too young for me.
I think what's wrong with the fucking land whale, excuse me, sand dolphin. She gets upset because people aren't attracted to her, and like I like me some big women. But her attitude, besides her underarms, her breath, the folds under her neck, what she calls an ass, but it's flat as a pancake, and like that gaping maw that is really akin to charn bug, her vagina, it's just disgusting because of who she is personally. Now, and what's funny is I've made 2 videos about her recently, and like she hasn't said shit about me. I wonder if it's just like D-Roy who thinks I'm a woman.
Did D-Roy call you a woman?
Yes, D-Roy called me.
Oh, good God. I heard about the whole, the one thing that Drag and Monty and Crimson all have in common is that they're all black, but it was like, I guess I missed that part.
It's in that video. He said Crimson, she's just a copycat.
Oh.
And like, mind you, of course I do, like, that's the reason why I don't like overlap a lot with the community. Yes, I do the Low Scout thing, but I do more politics shit than anything.
Okay, so Mr. Unite for the Children, if you're talking about Shani, no. Because she sounds like she sounds like Fran Drescher if she got punched in the throat.
Repeatedly.
She's got that really annoying stutter laugh, and it doesn't match her voice.
Again, I like big women, but that person.
Okay, I don't think Shallow Hal under hypnosis would fucking find her attractive.
Man,
Okay, I mean, old movie reference, but still, it's applicable in this one. She is every bit as ugly on the outside as she is on the inside.
I've actually shown people her channel and show people her, and they've been like, "Why did you do this to me? Why did you give me? Why did you give me this horribly ugly baby that I now have to carry around with me for the rest of my life?
Yes.
You are a bad person, sir." And I just don't know what to say, man. It's just like it's one of those things where it's just like, and it's funny because like it goes back to our resident fake feminist and our resident, incel, and that's what happens when incels and feminists get together. Toxic feminists and incels get together because that's what Reverend Shanny is.
Yeah. I do find it hilarious that one of the easiest way to trigger a fight between them and G-Man is to just have G-Man mention something that's a feminist talking point, because then Shani decides she's got to get into her 2 cents in, and then it pisses G-Man off.
Yeah, and G-Man's an incel.
He definitely.
And like no lie, like and I get the whole, well, this is not really what it is, but it's like it's not about you. Like shocker alert, like I haven't had sex in 2 years. Touch a few titties, but it's not gonna be like, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I hate women. Women hate, like, no, like if anything, I've become more open to seeing who women are, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not just the whole, oh, I need to get my penis wet. Like, no, like that's relatively easy.
I'm looking at 4 hours or so. So
I'm just saying, like, it's relatively easy to actually go out and like sleep with somebody. It's not that much of it.
It's not difficult as long as you're in the right frame of mind.
Right, but like a lot of people they ruin the fucking fun by being just assholes.
Yep. I mean, physical limitations and stuff like that. A lot of people know that a couple of weeks ago, I'm still dealing with the effects of 3rd-degree burns on leg, stomach, and my arm. And
I didn't hear about that. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Oh, I was in my truck. I decided to stop off at this truck stop that literally sold no food. So I ended up having to boil water, and unfortunately, I ran out of propane in my primary tank right as the water was boiling. So I set the water down on my bed, swapped out swapped out the propane, and I didn't realize that the bottom of the propane tank, that little black plastic thing, it wasn't on there. So when I set it in the base, I put the pan back on there, relit it and everything, waited for it to start boiling again, and then let my hand off the handle to go grab the ramen noodles, because that's the only thing that I keep in my truck for food. And the entire pot fell over. And needless to say, it hit my arm, splashed down my stomach, down my leg. And the bandages and everything like that have been a pain in the ass. I've still got I've got a couple of scabs that are being stubborn.
I can only imagine that.
But
god damn.
I mean, you can kind of see the where the skin's been peeling.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, you can see right here, and then like right here, and then up here in the back, you can actually see where my watch actually saved, most of my wrist.
Skin,
yeah. So I've got patches that are just normal looking skin, and then the rest of it is just like aggravated and red. And
that shit don't sound good at all.
Yeah, and it's I definitely was embarrassed about it, but at the same time, it's like, look, I I do have a lot of first aid experience. The thing that fucked me over most was the fact that it was in my truck, and I don't have a source of cold water in my truck, so I literally had to wait for the panic to to subside, and then get out of my truck, walk into the truck stop, go into the bathroom, and then try to cool myself off with a sink.
It's one of those things like.
So. Well, no, I immediately went into that right there. It was basically, he's like, oh, that was dumb. That was dumb. Okay, I need to stop. I immediately pulled my watch off. I started, doing this with my shirt to try and keep it off of my skin. But I mean, by the time I finally got into the truck stop, it was already too late. I already had some major damage.
No, that's like I've done some crazy shit when it comes to cooking. Like I legit actually put my hand on the top of a stove. Not I didn't know it was on, but an actual electric stove. Yeah, that was a thing.
So where the heating element wasn't quite glowing, but you didn't see it really putting off heat, so you just reached here, you just sat down. It's like, oh, that was fucking stupid.
I remember when I was younger too. Me and my friend, we were riding our bikes during a down what was essentially a forest reserve. Well, it was a forest reserve, but you know how some forest reserves have giant hills that you can actually climb up.
Yeah.
And do toboggans in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So they had steps going up there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, fun fact, it's a step and ramps. So we went up we said, let's ride down this. It's like, okay, cool.
Okay.
We rode down the first steps, and I was like, oh, that ain't nothing, right? Got to the smooth part, was like, okay, this is cool. This is fine. Everything is fine.
And I'm assuming then you hit a staircase?
Second set of steps. And I didn't know it was there, right? And I baseball slid because I didn't want to hit the trash cans that were at the bottom.
Yep.
And I baseball slid while on a bike and just scarred up my whole arm. Mind you, I was about 2.5 miles away from my house.
Oh, yeah. It's the ones where you've got to walk back to, to get the medical treatment is where you feel the worst.
And I was just like, fuck. I was like, fuck. But yeah, no. But yeah, and it's like, I realized something a long time ago. Injuries are never fun. And it's worse. Like, just going back to the topic, when you try to be like, I'm going to be manly about it. No. I would rather be a little bitch and get all the treatment I need, because when shit hurts, shit hurts.
Oh, so that was the funny part is I was actually I was still healing when I was on vacation last week. Mm-hmm. The reason why I had to leave drag so early the next day, because we were actually going to go out to IHOP and get breakfast and everything. Mm-hmm. I ended up having to leave as soon as I woke up. What it was while we were at the club the night before, the bandage had come off the medical tape, and the medical tape got stuck to the top part of the burn on my stomach. And it was basically like, I'm sorry, I either need to go to the doctors or go somewhere privately so I can go scream like a bitch, because I'm going to have to pull this off, and it's going to hurt like hell.
God damn it.
So,
I can only imagine.
Yeah, that was horrible, but luckily, like I said, it's all healing up now. I'm at the part where the skin's flaking off, and it's just itchier than hell right now.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine. If you ever really want to get into some of the big house shit, I am telling you, because it's really just because there's so many parts of that community that's just dog, y'all don't have to be this way. I've ran into something called the total forced loneliness.
Total forced loneliness. What's that?
Yeah, meaning that they're just don't want to call themselves incels. They're just Mgtows. So like they're just Mgtows. Like um
See, that's the one thing I don't understand is, yes, relationships are important, but even if you're an incel and you have this weird hiccup in your mental gearing that prevents you from talking to women, there are other men that that you can have relationships with as that are as meaningful, if not almost more than what you can have with women.
no, I still want somebody to touch my penis. Like
Well, I mean,
I'm be honest with you. Like no, and I get what you're saying, and like I that's one of the things that I do. I supplement what I'm not getting romantically from friendships that I have, but non-platonically with well, not non-platonically, but platonically with other people. Like
yeah,
no, that's something that you actually do, and that's something that you should actually do. And I'm not saying that everybody should be poly and shit like that, but the people who are poly because they know they need more than just one person to fulfill those needs, and they are healthy about it.
hmm
This is something that happens with people like that. But a lot of people are just so focused on, I need to find a one, I need to find a one. That's why I think that we should, like, destroy romanticism. Like, we should kill it with fire, because that's also something that, like, romanticism and capitalism are two of the things. And I know I'm sounding like I'm waxing poetically, but
oh no,
when
keep
you
going.
when you act as if only one person, or it's only the one, and you make things only needing one to satisfy your needs, you put a lot of pressure on people. You put a lot of pressure on yourself. I have to be the number one, and it's like,
Yeah,
why though?
I mean, I see that's one thing that I have issues with because because of the emotional issues that I had as a kid. I am, I guess, considered aromantic,
Hmm.
and I guess romanticism and sexuality are two ends of the spectrum, or two different spectrums, I guess, that coincide. Unfortunately, I'm also hypersexual, so I I do have multiple girlfriends. I She's stomping around upstairs right now, but I do have multiple girlfriends. The thing is they all know each other. They all know each other. They all know about each other. Um, they actually talk more than I talk to each of them individually.
So let me ask this about being
And
aromantic. I just, that's something that I think, like, I don't understand. Is it that you don't emotionally connect with them, or you just
I do emotionally connect with them. It's just that the terms of the connection are a lot more. I don't want to say platonic, but at the same time, they're non. They're just not romantic. I mean, like I have no problems telling them I love them, giving them a kiss, or anything like that. But like the romantic gestures, like buying them jewelry, giving them flowers, stuff like that. Um, the one time I tried to give my ex-wife flowers, she immediately uh, asked me what the hell I did wrong. And it was like, okay, well, I guess I'm never buying flowers again. Because at the time, I worked at a pizza place that had a florist shop right next to it. I had gotten more tips than usual that day and walked next door at the end of my shift and bought flowers for my wife. I thought I was being a nice guy.
it was more of a, like, I think my friend would like this, so let me give it to him.
Well, yeah, but it was the reaction that I got that just kind of like put me off completely of buying flowers for anyone.
And I think
Um,
to some extent I'm like that. Like, I how do I put it? What people consider romanticism, I fucking hate with a fucking passion. Like, I
mm,
really just want to destroy, because it. But when it comes down to, like, hey, I think this person may like this. Let me do this one thing. I'm more of that. Like,
yeah,
hey, I want to cook a meal. You want a meal too? Like, I'm more of that, and it doesn't have
and
to be sexual in nature. It's just like, Well,
No,
I
and
won't
see,
be
and the
safe.
gestures like that say I care about you.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I'm actually fairly good with.
Hmm.
Like, uh, I'm hungry. Let me make dinner, and I'll definitely make sure that there's enough for multiple people. I've got 7 people in my house, so when I make dinner, I usually make enough to feed an army. But it's the smaller individual gestures, like being hypersexual. I have no issues whatsoever. I mean, I love makeout sessions. I love you know sex, obviously, but I love foreplay. But at the same time, when we're done, it's I sleep in my bed, and if they feel like joining me, they can, but that's about it. I mean, I don't really, I don't do the cuddling or the holding or anything like that.
I think only reason why I'm somebody who does shit like that, especially because I just like touching women, like with permission. Always
Oh,
have.
I mean,
And
if they feel like joining me for the night, I have no issues. I'm a cuddle bug, but at the same
yeah,
time,
like yeah, no, and I get it, and it's just like it's one of those things where it's just like, and I think I treat and like for me when it comes to and it is weird because women hear this shit, they're like, wait, what do you mean? Like no, like I'm like, you want to hang out? Like no, what do you mean hang out? Like oh well, I want to watch a movie. Do you want to watch it? And I think another thing too, a lot more people are exactly what you're describing. They
hmm
just were told no, you have to be like this because reasons.
yeah, and I honestly, I think the main reason why I am more open about it than most people is because I grew up in a very weird house where the kids were seen as invisible. So the adults basically they had no issues making perverted jokes or anything like that or talking about sex. And I mean, like my mom would talk about blowing one of her boyfriends while I'm sitting in the kitchen 4 feet away from her trying to make my lunch.
Like, can we
And
not?
it was like, yeah, can we not do this? But but at the same time, it desensitized me, and it's one of those things where growing up, when I started talking about that kind of stuff, um, the looks that other people would give me, and it's like, wait a minute, why is this so fucking taboo of a subject?
Because people have a horrible relationship with sex
Yeah,
and sexuality. Like,
and so I was able to more freely explore it than a lot of the people around me, especially here in fucking red-hearted Oklahoma.
I try, like, I try to be like, and this is one of my things, and I know I don't really advocate to conservatives, but like, I try to be like, yo, we can't just like leave states behind because there are people in states that are, aren't super conservatives, and if we leave those states behind, those people are screwed.
Oh
Like
yeah,
this whole
no,
thing
I agree
about
with you on that
we
one.
need another civil war. No, the fuck we don't.
No, we need to come to an understanding.
First of all, let's be honest. Um, you can hide your uniform. I can't hide what presumed side that they think I'm gonna be on.
Alan,
Like
have you never heard me say that before? I was about to say that's one of the biggest jokes that I have about my state.
it's like in the end, they're gonna be like, "Yo, oh, you like you gonna be part of the liberal states? Come here, boy. Come. No, dog, we ain't friends. Oh, you're a liberal, ain't you? Like, no, dog. That's what pissed me off about that D-Roy video. He said I was a Democrat. I the fuck? And
I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm a little left of center. I still advocate for gun rights. I'm stupid enough to do this particular topic, but I'm not. Uh, I mean, I
so
subscribe to a couple of liberal schools of thought, but I'm not a Democrat. I've never have been.
so here's the thing about it. Subscribing to gun rights really isn't a liberal or a conservative thing. If you feel like people should be able to have weapons and shoot guns, that's cool. I have 3 blades on my wall back here. My problem with wanting to control guns is we have shitty mental health things here.
I was about to say I generally keep knives around my house all the time.
It's about shitty mental health, and when we think like, hey, I have a big win button with a gun, and it's just like, no, dog, we can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's what my problem is. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a fuck about people having guns. I really don't. They're not my cup of tea. But I have blades.
I have a couple of guns, but they're in a gun safe. I might pull them out once a month to clean them, and that's about it.
But would you think a gun is an extension of your penis? Or it's a big red win button? Like, no, that's not how that works. And my problem is with the original phrase. You know, the Stoicism phrase, it's not the sword that kills the person, but the man behind the sword. Gun rights advocates have bastardized that saying. It is literally that, yo, you need to worry about the person. But they don't want to worry about the person. They just like, oh, no, it's just people that kill people. Why are the people killing people? Don't just worry about that. Guns rights. And like, you like, no, stop, you fucking idiot.
Okay, so have you actually seen that video with the two NRA guys and
LaPierre and his wife shooting a clearly trained elephant, and it took like 3 shots for her to kill the elephant?
No, that's it was okay. So it was a bunch of NRA advocates. They're just standing there talking about the standard bullshit, and then this black dude dressed in like almost like Black Panther gear steps up right between them with an AK-47 in one hand and a book in the other. But he basically just like puts them out of the water when it comes to his zealotry. And then all of a sudden, they're like, yeah, we agree with you. Where are you from, by the way? And he's like, that sounds like a background check. And I was like, no, we wouldn't do that. That's, because we're NRA. But you can clearly see that they're incredibly uncomfortable.
That's like saying, shocking alert. Like this, like I'm going to give you a scenario that like did not happen at all in history. Like when the Black Panthers marched on the Capitol in California saying that we want to express our gun rights.
Yeah.
Like, the NRA was sticking up for them, right? 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 They would stick up for them, right? Oh, wait. When a licensed gun owner in Minnesota actually stops by the cops and says, hey, I have a gun, right? Let's and say, I'm going to show you my card, and the cop shoots and kills him. And, this guy happens to be called Philando Castillo. And then the NRA was, like, really, really vocal about that, right?
No, not really.
Wow.
As much as I take hunting to a weird thing, I do agree. I hate trophy hunting.
You know what? I say you should actually be able to hunt. You should trophy hunt, too. Now, the thing about it is, you go out there with a fucking spear, some freshly skinned animals, and then you go up against a lion. Go ahead and trophy hunt that way.
I'll see. Now you've got my attention because that's.
Go do some Craven trophy hunting, like go do that. Don't no. I'm in a ATV 600 meters away with a high power rifle. No, go up and meet your prey. Shake hands.
Now see that kind of trophy hunting I could get behind, but no, like what I was saying, I do snares and stuff like that. I've literally never touched a metal bear trap or anything, or a metal trap. Yeah. I have trapped before. I don't do. I think the largest game that I've ever actually taken down with anything besides a firearm is like a rabbit. But at the same time, that was with my blowgun, and that rabbit got eaten. So I mean,
and see stuff like that, I understand that, but just like I hunted like with those dumbass governors that when the gray wolf was taken off the endangered species list, you can hunt, and you realize that they were like literally using traps right outside of the Yellowstone ground guidelines, the ground lines. Like you fuckers, like. You are not a man. You that doesn't prove you're a man. That just proves that you are a shit human being. because you're using your technology. Like, no, get down there with them. Go get go put on some motherfucking fake ass Wolverine claws and go for it. But they'll never do that because they need to prove how much of a man they are. And
no, see, I'm sorry, but if you're that much in need of like proving your manhood, and you have to, and you decide that trophy hunting is the way to do it, I agree with you completely. Get yourself primitive weaponry, a spear, a knife, something like that. You go out there and you meet that motherfucker head on, and then when you get done, if you want to take that trophy, you better eat the rest of them.
The heart is first.
Yes.
Eat the heart first. Like the fuck? Like it just
I want to see that son of a bitch. You want to take down a rhino? Then go for it. You're gonna have fun killing him with a spear.
And not like we used to do it when in pre-Olympic times. No, it's gonna be you by yourself.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole. But it'd be fun. Did you hear about the story about the poachers that wandered into the lion's den?
No, I have not.
Okay, it was a group of poachers that wandered into a lion's den. The reason why they don't know the exact amount is because they only found bones.
So I'm assuming they went in. Looking for one lion and probably found the entire family.
Oh, they found the whole family.
Yeah.
They found the whole pride. Oh God!
Oh,
I am
hell.
such an asshole. I know. But yeah, that was lovely. That was a lovely situation because it was just like y'all fucked up. It was at that point you realize they fucked up.
And see, something like that though, I would love to do, but at the same time, I'm also talking about. That's a good way to put it, Queen Cat Lady. Native American philosophy. That would be a good way to do it. Make sure that you use everything. If you want to keep the trophy, that's acceptable. But use all the meat, and then figure out something to do with the bones.
And respect the animal.
Respect the animal, exactly.
I do have somebody in my Discord server who's a vegan, and I understand their point of it. Of humans now, we don't need to eat meat. We have a diet where we can and it's just like I get that, and one thing I do think that we should stop doing is the factory farming that we do, because it's destructive not only to our health but to our environment and to the animals that we destroy.
And see, even as a carnivore, I can agree with that. We need to get rid of factory farming. Okay, the thing is I specifically have a job as a truck driver. My boss raises grass-fed cattle. As a matter of fact, that's the reason why he needed a truck driver, is because I haul hay for him. But there's a lot of dairies and stuff like that I have to haul to. That it's just disgusting. I mean, thousands of cows on nothing but dirt, and they have to have the grass hauled in because it's a factory farm.
You know what's funny is I watch a channel called The Hoof GP, and it's just like I've seen the factory farms and I've seen the ones, but he's over there in Scotland, so they treat him a little bit different there. But yeah, I know what you mean though.
Well, and see, you go out to my boss's farm, and it's like the driveway is dirt, and then he's got a small paddock in the front for the heifers and their calves. Mm-hmm. That is dirt, but that's just because it's a smaller area and they've already done eating all of it. But other than that, the rest of the herd, it's out on his back field, and they're all grass fed. I mean, there's still grass under them because he makes sure to rotate his herd. Mm-hmm. And those are some of the goofiest, happiest cows you'll ever see. My roommate came out there one day, and he accidentally left the back hatch open to his bug, and we ended up with a cow that apparently got curious enough to try to climb into the back of his bug.
It's just like it just goes to like my point before about how you treat others. And yes,
Yes.
animals are others too.
Hmm.
And you know what kills me is like some of the people that are just like this way are supposedly Christian. It's just like you think that you're specially created and designed,
Yeah.
but like no, like you were still considered part of the beasts. There are some like if you look at the Bible, men weren't, they were specially created by God, but they were also, the beast had a place on the earth too. The only thing that men was, in some creation myths,
Yeah.
um, how we have two of them in Genesis, um, which is funny. How men were, in some cases, men were actually just created at the same time, well, in the same way the beasts were. They were just brought up. They were brought up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. A lot of this shit is just like crazy.
Queen Cat Lady. If you've ever seen I believe it's a UK show called The Island. Um, if you look for season 2, you might find it hilarious. They basically they sent out two teams of one group of men and one group of women to two different Pacific islands. Um, the men immediately went hunter mode, like literally taking down caimans and warthogs for food. The women, on the other hand, um, they had to have picked the worst women that volunteered because, like stereotypically, every episode involving the women was screeching at bugs and stuff. But they literally had two piglets walk into their camp, and not one of those women could actually butcher them. They literally kept them as pets until they actually started starving. And then I think it was a nurse. She finally stepped up and was like, "Okay, we need to eat these." And she finally pulled the pin and had to butcher them. But yeah, it was an interesting example of of
Ugh, ah, yeah. That sounds like the movie Alive, where he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to eat some of our dead, teammates, because pigs are
Mhm.
kind of actually smart."
They are, but at the same time, it was that particular episode and everything. It was funny just to watch them.
Hmm.
Um, because like I said, you got the guys in the island. They immediately went hunter mode and like even towards the end of that season, it was the guy. You look at the guys' camp, and it was all utilitarian. They had a covered fire. They had a communal eating area, but each one had their own bed. And then you had the almost the opposite with the women, where they had this like little communal area where they decorated it with shit that had drifted onto the shore, and they had their own little eating spots, but they all slept in a big puppy pile.
But that's actually more beneficial when you're asleep. I mean, I it just seems like it's so many. Okay, cool. I get utilitarian, but when you're not hunting, what else are you doing? Are you like? I guess okay. So one of the things that you need to do when you are like, I guess because you know that you're not going to be there for long, you don't make permanent structures and you don't try to like advance things. But like, I don't know. If we went Paleolithic right now, besides me saying like fuck, I love modern technology, um, and I had to adjust to it. Like I couldn't exactly not be here anymore. I'm rebuilding. Fuck that. I'm rebuilding.
Oh yeah, that's that like the whole thing that I'm probably that I'm hoping to get into at the end of the year.
Mhm.
When I get out there, yeah, there's going to be a structure there. I'm going to have a home because I plan on being out there for a few months.
Actually, here, I want to actually send you this link. Archive.org. Channel that I watch, Boy of the Fifth Column. He's into like survivalist things, but he's like really left wing. But it's a manual for a lot of shit. Some of the manuals are old, but it's archive.org.
Okay.
And it's just like how to do certain shit. And because they are funded by tax dollars, it's yours. Yeah. Like it's ours. It's like the US manual for shit. And it's archive.org.
Oh, so it's was it public domain basically?
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
So yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you can do this, you can do that. Some of it's old, some of it is very old, but think about it. You got a manual for shit.
I was about to say I actually enjoy messing around with old technology.
Yeah, Internet Archive is a nonprofit library of millions of free books, movies, software, music, websites, and more. Yeah. Damn, I just got some ideas for fucking YouTube videos. Oh, it's Democracy Now! Is on here. Occupy Wall Street is like they're featured on it. Oh shit, oh shit. I think I found me something to do.
Oh. Okay, yeah, I can. Oh, well, I mean, this thing's definitely got an algorithm in it because I already see the survival tab.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to bookmark that real quick. Let's see here. Oop, cancel it.
They have stuff like, oh wow, so let's look at it. Audiobooks, the free audiobooks, additional collectives, live music archives, arts and music, Electric Sheep. Do Cyborg's Dream of Electric Sheep?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a lot of people don't get what that's a reference to.
What, the Electric Sheep?
Yeah, do Cyborg's do Robot's Dream of Electric Sheep?
That was one of the very first AI books, wasn't it?
What movie is it a reference to?
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but they made the same reference. I just don't remember what book that they were referencing.
Philip K. Dick. He wrote the story about it.
And wasn't it just a book called Electric Sheep?
No, it was Do Cyborg's Dreams of Electric Sheep.
Okay, yep.
It's a very popular movie.
I remember it had a thing for being one of the first of its genre. I just don't remember.
When I tell you the movie, you're gonna like, fuck yeah, I should have known that.
I probably will. Go ahead.
It was the original name of the book that Blade Runner was written off of.
And being a cyberpunk fan, I should have fucking known that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I knew I'd heard it from somewhere, but like most of my fandom was cyberpunk, so Blade Runner was only like a peripheral thing.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm supposed to be doing an Ask Me Anything, but I need to take a nap before I start. Oh my god.
I may actually. I know I've got to make dinner tonight because we've got a sick kid in the house and I've got to make chicken noodle soup for him. But I may be starting a campfire tonight, so
that should have been started 4 hours ago in a slow cooker.
I don't use slow cookers. I've already got the noodles done. I just have to get the chicken I just have to get the broth done.
I'm offended. You don't use a slow cooker? How dare you, sir?
I prefer using my stock pot. I mean, it's bigger.
Okay, I give you that.
Because generally, when I make chicken noodle soup, I use like 5 pounds of chicken, and I make enough for this kid to eat for a week.
I give you that. I will give you that. Like, that's the thing. I live in a house by myself, so yeah,
Okay.
no. But one of the things that I did was, I used to cook beans when my neighbor was living upstairs, and
Yeah.
every time I would cook beans, he would like, "Oh, we eating beans tonight?" I was like, "No, you like I'm eating beans. I don't know what you not." But like, because I would cook the smoked turkey tails for about 4 hours before in a slow cooker, then add the beans and let the beans cook for another 8 hours. So it'd be a 12-hour process to eat beans.
Mm-hmm. I will use a slow cooker if I'm making chili.
Yeah, I understand that one.
So,
all right, man. But have some fun, man. I enjoyed
Yep.
the stream. Like I feel like every time I come in, it's just like, oh, you just start talking a lot, and like I try not to because. Like,
oh no, we're good. We had a lot of talkative people on today, so.
All right, man. Peace.
Yep, you have a good one. The only other thing I can think of is because of the mindset that I've been in for the last month, I do owe somebody an apology, and I do need to explain something. So if she wants to DM me on Discord, I would appreciate it. I'm pretty sure she's not going to bother watching this unless somebody sends it to her. But yeah, anyways, that's neither here nor there. So we'll see what I will keep you guys updated. I am going to start working on the gut again, but unfortunately, as a truck driver, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than it used to be. But we'll see where that goes. I will keep you guys updated on progress throughout, but other than that, I'm definitely going to try and keep a lot more time like on my off weekends with my kids. More than likely, you're not going to see me a whole lot on in voice chats or live chats, because I've been kind of dedicating that to my kids especially. But yeah, I will probably be around the rest of the weekend, at least until my kids get home Sunday night. And I will talk to you guys later.